This is when Big Sills is at his best. Keeping moving the yardsticks here, and I got to tell you, I never in a million years ever thought that covering the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL would give me as much content as it does each and every single day. News everywhere. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We've got the latest on what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, too, the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. You should be saying that the entire offseason here. The defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Had a bunch of conversations this morning. We posted earlier today that it was pretty much a done deal that Kellen Moore would become the next head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. His resume is pretty impressive when you put it all together here. The Philadelphia Eagles, for another year, are going to be looking at another offensive coordinator for that quarterback, Jalen Hurts. 2024, 8th in total offense. Passing, 29th. Run game was 2nd in the league. Scoring, they were 7th. Red zone, 13th. Third down, they were 10th. He had an exceptional year. And you know what he did? They did it their way and what they wanted to accomplish with the stars in the huddle. Okay? They knew that the quarterback was not having the season that the running back was having. They went with the hotter hand. It's not a rip to go with the hotter hand. If you had a starting pitcher on your Phillies team and you had another starting pitcher who was a better pitcher, but the other guy had won 5 in a row, who are you going with? The better pitcher or the hot hand? I'm going with the hot hand. And that's exactly what the Eagles did the entire season. It's not an indictment on anybody. It's what they did. Okay? It's what they did. By the way, all supers go to the top. Breaking news, LeBron wants to shake Cooper's hands now. Okay? Just like that, nutbag, all supers go to the top. Okay? They did exactly what they needed to do. They used the personnel. I thought Kellen had an exceptional year. Some of you are going to go, what about the passing game? Just like with Jalen Hurts, who fucking cares? You won a Super Bowl. Remember I told you 2 weeks ago? Kellen Moore now has a get-out-of-jail card that's going to live with his coaching career for the rest of his life. Guy's the coordinator to win a Super Bowl. He'll always have a job in the National Football League now. Always. He will always have a job. Okay? And by the way, LeBron James, who fucking cares about the NBA? I could care less. Wake me up in June. I mean, honestly, wake me up in June. Don't talk to me about the NBA now. I'd have no caring about it. It's not a relevant sport. I'd rather talk WNBA. Okay? I mean, it's not relevant. So the Eagles are going to be in the market for a new coordinator. We spoke with Frank Reich. We'll let you know what he said to me a couple minutes from now. Clint Hurt will also be interviewed for the defensive coordinating job with the Saints. Bobby King, your linebacker coach in Philadelphia, will be interviewed for the defensive coordinating job with the New Orleans Saints. They've got to rapidly put a coaching staff together because the draft is in about, 2.5 months? You've got to get all your intel together. Now, Mickey Loomis, he's going to help them. They've got a pretty good personnel staff there. Obviously, Philadelphia rates it all the time. Philly knows where to go for players. Okay, let's go to New Orleans. So they know what they're doing when it comes to identifying. They just don't really know how to develop. And I think that's been a problem that they know that the Saints have, that the good coaching staffs that have come in here, they have not been what they were hoping them to be. I mean, Dennis Allen could not develop anybody on the offensive side of the football. Okay? Brandon Staley's name is now being considered as the offensive coordinator, and he'd just be working with Kellen. That must have been a pretty incredible relationship that Kellen, when he was there for that 1 year with Brandon Staley, that must have been, remember something here too. Kellen Moore getting that job in Los Angeles, that was right after he was fired from the Dallas Cowboys. Some of this stuff becomes buddy stuff and loyalty. Some of these hires become loyalty hires. Guys, do me a favor. You were incredible in the likes yesterday. Hit the likes, okay? I'm still hungover. We did it, Sills. World champs. By the way, that will never get tiring here. I know some of the media people in Philly are tired. I'll never get tired of that, having somebody talk about being world champs. That will always be posted. Okay? That will always be posted. I'll never get tired of that or never get tired of seeing that. Yes. So, again, excuse me, Brandon Staley's name also is in the conversation. Excuse me, not offensive coordinator. Thank you for correcting me. Defensive coordinator. He's one of the leading candidates to become the defensive coordinator also in New Orleans. You're right. Thank you very much. If I said offensive coordinator, my bad too. So Staley is a guy that they're looking at to be the coordinator. So keep an eyeball on that. Brandon Staley, Clint Hurt, and also Bobby King. Those are your names that potentially could follow him to New Orleans. We're going to take a look at potential guys that could take over for him. Really hoping that Nick doesn't make the same mistake as Doug, promoting from within instead of going out and finding a new OC. Okay? Appreciate your thoughts. Please hit the like button. You hope it is Staley because you don't want to see Clint. You don't want to see Bobby King leave. Hit that like button. 36 years old. Kellen Moore. It's a backup quarterback in the league. Has almost like the same kind of credentials that Frank Reich has. His resume speaks to this. 2019, he was the OC for Dallas. They were 6th. They scored 27 a game. 2020, that's when I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the year that Dak got injured. They fell to 17th. 21, they went to 1st, scoring 31 points a game. 22, he was the coordinator. They were 4th. They went to 27-5. 23, they had that up and down, really awful season, especially with Herbert being injured. They fell to 21st, probably his worst coordinating year as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. And obviously last year they were 7th, and they scored 27 points a game, mainly by running the football. I think he's got a real tall order there in New Orleans. What are you going to do with Derek Carr? Is Derek Carr your guy? Xander made a great point, but I also go back on the other side of that point. You're not guaranteed that there's going to be a good job next year. I brought this up later in the program yesterday. So do you actually really believe that Ben Johnson got a better job this year with the Bears than the Washington Commanders? You think that's a better job? You think that's a better job coaching Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels? Some are going to go, how did you know, Seals? You don't know. Nothing gets guaranteed that it's going to be a good job. You have no idea. Who would you rather coach? Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams? Do they ever produce quarterbacks in Chicago? What's going to turn the worm in Chicago that's going to make that thing different? They got an offensive mind in there? Maybe. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying they haven't done it. That job's not that great a job. Caleb Williams, I don't see it. I don't see it. Frank Reich, Slowick, Patullo, who cares? We're going back to back. How you doing? Hey, you got all that right to say all this now because you're the defending world champions. So I would say this to Kellen. Kellen Moore came in, did his job to the highest levels. Congratulations. You should wish him well. See you later. On to the next one. You know what makes this not that awful? You know what makes this not that awful? You're used to it. This is standard operating procedure in Philly. You're either going to get fired or you're going to get hired. Supers go to the top. Eagle organization is elite. It is. I wanted Vic and Nick fired earlier in the year. They turned the whole ship around and pulled it off with a championship. Unbelievable season. Yes. That's right, Charlie. Next. That's pretty much how they operate. By the way, Merle Reese, fresh off his call of Super Bowl 59, will join us at 5:30. Okay? Absolutely. Who will be the potential replacements? By the way, today, Big Sills, February 11th. I got 10 questions heading into this offseason. Obviously, we'll add more as the offseason continues. But 10 questions I have for the Eagles as they try to repeat as champions. My take on the roster and how well they performed, and some who didn't, some who excelled. We're going to take a look at that. Please hit the like button. Some of the top prospects to start looking at as you start to see the combines coming up soon. On who will be around that 32 mark. Are you going to trade out? Are you going to trade up? Are you going to move some of those picks to go get Myles Garrett? What are you going to do at 32? 32. By the way, you know how many people here, get this. I heard John McMullen say this today. Do you know that the 32nd pick in the draft is usually a great pick? It's usually a great pick. Why? Why is the 32nd pick a great pick? Why do you think that in the NFL draft it's a great pick? Just a couple observations. Dude, to me, the shittier picks and the bigger risks are in the top. Why do you think the 32nd pick? You know why? By the time you get down to 32, the draft starts to fall in order. Best player available. You ever notice some of the teams that do a great job in the latter rounds? Why? Best player available starts to fall in line. And you're not going to be that far off from the 38th pick and the 47th pick. They're pretty much the same guy. You know, the only thing that sometimes separates those is 1 inch in height. The players start falling in order. You understand the first 15 picks, they're the crapshoot. That's why you see Kansas City, you saw New England, you saw teams forever picking at the bottom of the draft, but finding players. Why? The draft falls in order. You get a quality player, you most likely get a starter down there. How many people looked at Xavier Worthy when he was at the bottom and was the 32nd player taken? Xavier Worthy's a starter for the world two-time champ Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's the Eagles who are the champs, but Xavier Worthy was starting for the champs all season. Okay? I mean, you get starters down there. So when people go, you're going to get a quality pick. You're going to get a fucking starter down there. And it's going to fall in order for you. Don't just go to sleep going, well, it's the 32nd pick. You know, fuck, it's not going to be one of the top. The top 15 are the crapshoots. Okay? They're going to be the crapshoots. So don't go to sleep on that pick. That's a quality pick down there, especially if you want to move up. So we're going to take a look at that. Who replaces Kellen Moore? I also want to start the program off with this. You know, I went back to my interview with Gary Cobb. Gary Cobb talked to the agent. I wanted to double check. You know, Xander and John have a different opinion of this. And by the way, this is not my opinion. Gary Cobb talked to the agent for Zack Baun and Zack Baun himself, and he believes that he's going on the free agent market and they're going to test free agency. That's not my opinion. Gary Cobb said that from Fox 29 in Philly. So whatever people are hearing, Zack Baun told Gary Cobb that. I posted it on my X. Go listen to it. It's there for you. Fox 29's Gary Cobb said, he spoke to him. And he goes, I'm going to leave it up to my agent. And Gary goes, I talked to the agent. And I go, do you believe that he's going to go in the open market as a free agent? And he says, I do. That's not me. I did not say that. Go listen to the clip. I posted the clip. Okay? Gary Cobb said that. So don't blame me. You can go back and listen to the entire interview. Okay? This is not me. I have no insight on Zack Baun. I just took Gary Cobb, who covers the team, is in the locker room, and was in the locker room after the Super Bowl. Okay? Saying he talked to Zack Baun and his agent. This is Zack Baun's chance to make a giant number when it comes to a contract. Why wouldn't you test free agency? Okay? You know, this is going to be one of the questions. So I posted that thing. I thought that was one of the most compelling things that we had, even with Angelo yesterday, was that Gary Cobb spoke to Zack Baun, and he said, I'm letting my agent handle this. And then Gary said, yeah, I believe they're going to go in the open market. Hey, by the way, M. Reyes, don't shit on the guy who's just delivering a message that the player said. The player said it to him. Gary's not going to lie. Why would Gary fucking lie? He's not lying. One thing I know about G. Cobb, G. Cobb's not a liar. I've known him for 60 years. I've known him since I was like 9, 10 years old. Okay? Go and listen to it on my Twitter page, my X account. The entire comment was made yesterday on the National Football Show. I talked to Zack Baun after the Super Bowl. And Zack Baun, quote, I'm going to let my agent handle this. Then Gary goes, I spoke to the agent. I said, do you think you're going to be seeing Zack Baun out on the open market testing free agency? He goes, I do. Okay. That's another thing to think about. I mean, somebody will overpay for him. Okay. Somebody will overpay for him and offer him more money than the Eagles are going to be willing to pay. Okay? So keep that in mind as we go forward with these conversations today. So I do have the questions that I am going to be looking at the beginning here of February for the Eagle team. You guys, how many people think you're going to be repeating as champions? Let's see how many times that's happened in NFL history. Super Bowl champions. Let's see. How many people in here believe that you're going to be Super Bowl champions back to back? Repeat? Okay. You got every right to say it right now. I'm not saying you're stupid for saying it. I'm not. Let's see here. Packers. Dolphins, Steelers, Niners, Cowboys, Broncos, Patriots, Chiefs. 9 teams in NFL history have done it. And you think you'll be the 10th. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm not saying it's a pipe dream. That's not where we are. Nobody's saying that. But do you truly believe that you're going to be in the... How about this? It's going to be fair to say you're in it. Okay? It's going to be fair to say you're in it. So let's take a look at the 10 questions I have here on February 11th. Let's start it off with what we just said. Okay? And for the record, these are all questions that the Eagles are asking. This is about, you're basically rebuilding a little bit of your team for you to get a shot back at being a champion, correct? Eagles have to address these questions as well. It's not just me making questions up here. Okay, and by the way, Charlie goes, it's a realistic possibility. Absolutely it is. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Give me a total on the likes. We're halfway into the first hour here. I appreciate it. Xander's going to join us at 3:30, and we'll have Merle Reese at 5:30. Fresh off his call from Super Bowl 59. Let's start it off with the first one we heard yesterday. Gary Cobb says he believes, after talking with Zack Baun, that he will be on the open market. Okay? That he will be a free agent. I think that's interesting. Because I've been hearing people tell me in the media that how he's going to get it done. Well, Gary heard it from Zack Baun's mouth himself. My agent will decide that. And he believes, after talking to the agent, he'll be on the open market. That's not me reporting it. He said it here. Okay? To me, that's pretty big news. Because John's reporting something different. Gary said he talked to Baun himself. And Baun told him that. I mean, hey, we're going to be in the land of misinformation here. Okay? When you're in the offseason, especially as you get ready for free agency, you're going to be, why would you do this? Before we move on with this and off this topic, if you're Zack Baun and you're Zack Baun's agent, why would you undercut yourself by saying you're not going to go in the open market to the Eagles when you've got to negotiate a contract? Why would you give them that fucking leverage? You wouldn't. Why would you devalue yourself? That's okay. I'm going to get it done here. I wouldn't say that either. You're trying to get max dollars, dude. It's not that you don't want to be here. But you can't walk up to your general manager and go, hey, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm not leaving here. Go ahead. Offer us a deal. You think Howie's just going to offer up lesser money? They did that with DeAndre Swift last year. Swift walked out the building. Worked out great. He got Barkley because of it. This is leverage play. This is not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. This is just leverage. Do I think it gets done? I think they're going to get it done. But I thought that was, again, an interesting comment from a guy who was in the locker room and spoke to the guy immediately after the Super Bowl. You would have thought Baun would have said, hell no, I'm staying here. That's not what Gary reported. And he was in the locker room there in New Orleans. Gary called us yesterday and did his interview from New Orleans. Okay. That being said, let's start out. I got 10 of these. Actually, 11 of them. Big Sills, Eagles offseason questions. How much are you going to pay Zack Baun? Number one, are you going to really pay him $60 million? Someone will offer him that. Dan Morgan, the general manager for the Carolina Panthers, told me someone will clearly offer him $60 million. Are the Eagles going to pay $60 million and pay him $20 million per annual? Are they going to pay him 20? Boy, I don't know. $20 million, making him the highest paid linebacker next to Frank Warner and also Roquan. You're going to pay him the same money as Roquan Smith. Is that right? 3 years, 45 won't get it done, dog. Not happening. How much are you willing to pay for him? How high will they go? How about this? How high do you think the Eagles will go for this? I'll write a number down myself. Would they pay Huff $51 million? That's your benchmark. Hey, somebody tell me, what was Bryce Huff's deal? Can you remember? Was it 3 years, $51 million? Was Bryce Huff 3 years, $51 million? Can somebody confirm that? Because if it's 3 years, if that's 3 years, 51, the floor is 14.5 you're starting at. You're really going to fucking offer him less than what that garbage bag makes? That's insulting. That's insulting. Here's 11. So you're making less than a guy who doesn't play and was deactivated for the fucking Super Bowl? You better. These are the same people that want to trade Kenny Pickett for Myles Garrett. You better fucking come to me with a little more here. You better. The benchmark, the floor is 15. Do you understand what Howie did here? That guy failing. That's the benchmark. 3 years, $15 million. You got to be north of that. You're not going to go 3 years. Somebody just went 3 years, $45 million. So you're going to pay him less than Bryce Huff. The guy who was in the conversation for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Are you fucking drunk? Bryce Huff's agent will laugh at you. And get this, it's not that that's a crazy number. How we fucked up by paying that guy that. Because now he's pigeonholed himself with 14.5. You ain't paying him 12, 13. You can't. The guy on the roster who wasn't even active for the Super Bowls making more than him? No, thank you. I'll go somewhere else. So what are you going to willing to pay him? 19? 8? You got to pay this guy $20 million a year. You got to pay him $20 million. 19. All right. You want to do that? Here's where we are then. Do you guys understand now that money, when we talk about this stuff? Okay? No. Get this. Sills thinks he's a capologist? No. Hey, Trey, you don't have to be a fucking capologist to know Bryce Huff makes what? 14.5 a year? He signed a 3-year, $51 million contract, and you're going to offer me less? You don't need to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure out that ain't working for me. You paid that stiff that. That doesn't take you to be a capologist. That's common sense. That's common sense. Are you really going to insult Bryce? Are you really going to insult Zack Baun by offering him less than what Huff makes? Yeah, let's take a look at what you guys want to do here. You thought this was going to be that easy? That stiff on your team makes it difficult for him. Here, let's do this. Now, right now, you're looking at, if you're paying him 19, that's $57 million. How much are you willing to pay him? 15? You're going to pay him 15 annually. He'll get more in the open market. Gary Cobb's right. Gary Cobb's right. I'll get 20 in the open market. I'm 27, 28 years old. Yeah, pay me less than Bryce Huff. Oh, you know, I love Philly. Yeah, everyone thought that fucking Kellen Moore was going to stick around to be the coordinator making $2 million when he's going to sign a fucking $50 million contract. And you want him to stick around to be what? The OC for another year in Philly? How dope is that? And it's all guaranteed. And coaching salaries are all 100% guaranteed. Can't be any dopier than that to think that shit. There's no such thing as a great job the next year. So Super Bowl winners want the Brinks truck. And that's right. He just scored 95 points in the NFC title game and also in the Super Bowl combined. And you think that Kellen Moore's going to sign that contract in New Orleans for cheap money? No. You think now also here, Zack Baun was one of the catalysts on that football team, that he's going to take a Bryce Huff contract? How many people think he's going to take Bryce Huff's contract at $14.5, $51 million? That's what you never even thought about, that there's a trash can on your team right now, and that fucking guy makes more than Zach. Zach makes $1.5 million right now. That guy makes $14.5 million. And you're going to offer him the same contract that dude makes, and he doesn't even play ahead of Jalen Hunt. I'm not staying in Philly. Why would I stay? He deserves more. Why would I stay? Oh, I know. Because it's the Eagles. I want to win. Not bad enough. He'll go somewhere else to get paid. May not win enough games, but he'll get paid. Okay? Once again, get this. Once again. Hey, well, here, get this. This clown said Hurts was over. Hurts fucking starts. Barkley had a better year than Jalen. Those two guys are starters. Huff was deactivated as a healthy scratch for the fucking Super Bowl. Holy cow. You're out of your minds if you think you're signing Bryce Huff back, or Zack Baun back, and offering him Bryce Huff's contract. Everybody kept saying 12, 11, 12, 13. An agent pointed this out to me. You know who? Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus offered this up to me. He goes, let me give you a little insight. How he set the market for edge rushers in Philly at 14.5, 3 years. And that's what the agents go on. Isn't that what Hassan Reddick made? Right? Isn't that what Reddick made? So Howie's going to go to Zack Baun because he's inside? We're going to pay you less. Hey, man, top dollar number is Patrick Queen money and Roquan Smith money for the top dudes. How much you paying Zack Baun? Don't offer him that stupid ass Bryce Huff deal. They'll walk out the building. or anything less. 15, you're going to offer him 500 grand more. You're going to offer him 500 grand more than Bryce Huff, who doesn't start on your football team. That's not exactly how it works. Question 1, unanswered. Oh, and by the way, Gary kind of put a little fuel to it yesterday right here on our show. I didn't say it. Gary talked to the agent. Get this. Hold on. Wait a minute. I didn't say this. Gary Cobb did. He talked to Zack Baun Sunday after the Super Bowl. That's not my take. I didn't say it. He said it here. So, don't look at me. How much guaranteed money do you start with? 40, 60? Maybe. Somewhere in there. Dumb take. Huff plays a different position. Okay. Huff plays a different position. It's true. It's edge. The 2 interior linebackers make $20 million, Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. And you're going to have a guy who is going to be on your football team, and you're telling me a guy who does not start, you're going to have on your defense making more money than him, who's the centerpiece of the defense. Fucking awful take. Baun can play edge. Baun can play anywhere. It's evident. He's a Swiss Army knife. Okay? Mickey Loomis is a terrible GM. Mickey Loomis has a Super Bowl as a general manager. Sills, I'd give him 20 million, signing bonus 60, or 20 million signing bonus, 60 over 4 with 50 million guaranteed. Huff only has 34 million guaranteed extra year with more guarantees. Okay? You got yourself a dominant linebacker again. He's better than Edwards. So go ahead and pay the price. I think you're right, Machiavelli. I think you're right. Okay? He's a game-changing player. He's just not TJ Edwards, who's a tackling machine. This guy's a playmaker. You can put him anywhere. Dude, Travis Kelce was a non-factor in that game. And I think that had a lot to do with Zack Baun out there. Get this. The 2 things that Zack Baun did in that Super Bowl that are not being looked at enough, the job they did in the run game against the Saints run game, and the job that they did covering Kelce. They never got going because they couldn't get their run game going. Okay? Why didn't you read what I actually put in the $10 super chat? Here, put it back up for this guy. Please, Xander, if we can. 40-6. Let me see. What did you say here? Dumb take. Huff plays a different position. What the fuck are you? Comparing a defensive end to middle linebacker. Baun would get 18 per. Saints GM sucks. Don't know why you think that. Why they have no cap room left and the team sucks. I don't know what you're talking about. Saints GM sucks. Don't know why you like him. That's why they have no cap room and the team sucks. I don't give a shit about that take. Dumb. They fucked themselves with Huff because even if we move off him, we've got to eat the cap and offer a great deal for Baun. Here, William. Dude. Like I said, Bryce Huff, his contract at 3 years, $51 million for a free agent at that position. Okay, you're going to turn around and you're going to say to Zack Baun, well, because you play middle linebacker, we're going to offer you $11 million. Is that really what you're going to fucking say to him? $18 million, fully guaranteed over 3 years with incentives. Philly done. Philly, these people don't get it, man. It's a fucking shame. Hey, it is. Gary Cobb said his agent told him they're going to test free agency. I didn't say it. Go back to yesterday's interview with Cobb. I even asked him, I don't know. I don't talk to Zack Baun. The fuck are you talking about? You think I made that up? Lions $50 million cap space for Baun. He's gone. $100 million in Washington. Do me a favor. Go fucking listen to it. How stupid are you? I didn't say this. You can't be any fucking dumber. Jesus criminy. Question 2. Who replaces Sweat? How are you replacing Sweat? Who's replacing Sweat? How are you going to replace Sweat? And by the way, not every one of you in here, 99% of you are absolutely awesome in here. Okay? There's just a few ding-dongs and dingbats. Not a lot. It's actually different now. Many of you are fucking brilliant in here. Because I know it's early, but if we can get Oren, I like Oren. I think he was a great centerpiece of the team in the postseason. Do you think we let Trotter take the next step? And how do you like this kid, Jalen Walker from Georgia? I got a list of these guys. Okay? I got a list of these guys. Thank you, James. Hey, James. Your boys are coming. Your Commanders are coming. Who replaces Josh Sweat? So Jalen Hunt. He's going to replace Josh Sweat. You're going to gamble with him. Okay? Have I seen enough to say that he's going to replace Josh Sweat? Absolutely not. He's a rotation piece right now. You know who Jalen Hunt is right now? He's Bryce Huff, New York Jets. Could he evolve into being a better every down player? Yes. Not saying he's not. And you know what? After watching what those guys did player personnel-wise, the coaches and player development, he may be that good of a player by the middle of next year after what I saw. I'm not saying that that's not out of the realm of possibility. Right now, no way. But do I see him over the rainbow that he could be? Maybe. Maybe. Who replaces Josh Sweat? Sue, I'm with you. I believe in Vic too. Supers go to the top. Give me a total here. Please, guys. Who replaces Josh Sweat? Okay? Unless you trade for Garrett or Crosby, Sweat can only be replaced by bodies. Moore, Smith, and Hunt. And the edge you drafted 32. Okay? By the way, I don't believe any answer is wrong here. I don't believe any answer is wrong. Free agency? Okay. You got to replace the guy. Josh Sweat does not want to play in Philadelphia anymore, and Philadelphia doesn't want Josh Sweat anymore. Drew Rosenhaus is preparing teams right now, and they're going to present Josh Sweat to opposing teams. And he's already making the rounds. The Miami Dolphins are already interesting. Come on, people, think. For as intelligent as Baun played this year, do y'all really think he's an idiot off the field in his negotiations? William, they think they're going to fucking keep the guy in Philadelphia because it's the Eagles and you want to win another championship. Fuck that. Players want money, man. Howie's got to get in the room. You're not going to offer him $11 million knowing that a guy on your front seven makes more than you and he sucks and he doesn't even play. Yo, Seals, parade is Friday. Don't you dare try to get out of coming. I will be highly upset with you and your wife. Should be here for Valentine's Day. Ace. That's a tough putt for me, man. Okay. Thank you, Ace. Ace, congratulations to you, man. Keep cheering. I'll never get tired of people saying world champions. You earned it. I'll never get tired of that. Okay? I will never get upset with that. So, who are we replacing Josh Sweat with? Who are we replacing him with? Who are we replacing him with? Give me a name that you're going to replace him with. Hunt and draft edge. Okay? Hunt and draft edge. That's the game plan. Is Hurts staying with the D-line, Sills? I don't know what is going to go down with Brandon Staley and Clint Hurt. I know that Bobby King, those will be the three guys that Kellen's going to talk to. And it would not shock me if it comes down between Clint and Brandon Staley. Okay? So your edge next year is going to be a draft pick and Jalen Hunt. Is that right? Okay. That's okay. Got a lot of time to kick this around because things will change. Hit the like button, okay? Number 3. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Give me a count on the likes. Guys, they're great. Like I said, 99.9% of you in here are spectacular. Okay? There's just a couple dickheads in here. Get this. I never said they're getting rid of Baun. I asked the question. You didn't hear the question, obviously. How much are you willing to pay for Baun? And the Eagles are not going to have an open checkbook on this. Open your fucking ears, some of you. How much are you willing to pay for him? Seals, what did you think of the Jimmy Johnson segment before the game? I thought it was special. I loved it. They did that AI thing with him. I didn't know Coach was close to retiring. Okay? I didn't know that. By the way, here's Xander here. Xander's going to be on with us at 3:30. Hey, I'm not saying no, there's no wrong answer here. Seals, I might be willing to pay $20 million. How he works the contract the right way. And Howie's way? Okay. So you believe, Xander, that Eagles will play $60 million over 3 years. It may have to get to that number. You know why? Because teams have that money. Let me ask you something here. Hey, James Jones, let me ask you this. James Jones, your Commanders have what, $100 million, $97 million in cap space? What would a player like Zack Baun look like on that Washington Redskins defense if you put him in the middle there? This guy wants to pay Zack Baun less than Bryce Huff, who doesn't even play. Okay. Hey, James, what do you think Baun would look like in a Washington Redskins uniform next year? What do you think he would look like? I'm not letting Baun walk if I can. No way. I agree with Xander on that. They got to come up with a way to make it happen. That is something that I thought about too, dude. Let's see. Let's see what a franchise tag would be in 2025. Projected franchise tag for linebackers. $2025. The franchise tag for linebackers in the NFL in 2025 is $27 million. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. 27.5 million, actually. Sweat had 8 sacks last year and 6.5 the year before. Jalen Huff, and Rookie can make up for the production. Hey, by the way, real zeal. I'll make this point to you. Yeah, but those guys don't play the run like Josh. Sorry. Yeah, here is the projected franchise tag for linebackers 2025. $27 million. And what they're basing right now, the cap is going to be somewhere between $265 million to $275 million. That'll be the cap. You ain't signing Zack Baun for $27 million. You're not tagging him for that. That ain't happening. Those are two. Hey, I wouldn't. I'm not sure I would tag Fred Warner with that. I mean, is there really a defensive player in the league outside of Myles Garrett that I'm going to put $30 million on? I don't know. That's an awful big number. Yeah, well, it is $27 million. Franchise tag for linebackers. Right here. The projected franchise tag for linebackers in the NFL in 2025 is $27 million. Ooh. And you're going to offer him 11? Are you really going to offer him 14? When the franchise tag's $27 million? Would you think this offseason was going to be easy? Let's see. It's a good question. How much does Roquan Smith make? He signed a 5-year, he signed a 5-year, $100 million contract. His numbers are 24 salary, spread out, obviously. Last year's salary, cash payout was $18 million. His salary was $9 million. He made $27 million. Woo! In 24. 25 base is 15. He'll make $38 million this coming season. Excuse me. No, that's not. That's not cash payout. That's cap hit if you were to cut him. His dead cap value right now for the Baltimore Ravens is $41 million. All you got to do is read. Ain't no capologist here. Okay. So JT's Roquan makes 20. You're going to pay Zack Baun when the cap is up, and salary should go up, and the tag is 27. You want to pay him 12? I would pay Baun 15. Well, that will be a tough negotiation then. Okay? Would you bring Greenlaw from the 49ers and try to sign Zach? Dude, I like Oren Burks. I'm good with him. I think the guys that they have in the building are good. Okay? Well, I don't know what this means. That's not true. Dude, he's lying. All you got to do is Google it. Any idiot like M. Reyes can read. It says it right there. And I just went to the NFL Players Association on what the cap and what the franchise tag is. Here, I'll give you one even better here. Projected franchise tag per position. If you were going to put the tag on anybody. Projected 2025. Projected. By the way, this is what Howie's been doing the last 2 months. Here, let me read my friend here. I think Baun and Beckton should be a free agent priority. Milton, he's in a class below them. And in the draft, we got to find our next right tackle. I think Sweat is gone, unfortunately, but we need money for Carter in the next year. I also am going to do that in what's being brought up here. Okay. Defensive tackles, $20 million, 0.9. Wide receiver, $20 million. Defensive end, $20 million. Quarterbacks, 36.3. Corners, 18. Those were the 24, excuse me. Those are the 24 numbers. Those are the 24. These franchise tag numbers are fucking insane if you're going to do it and tagging these people. The numbers, because the numbers have gone up here. Cornerbacks are going to be 19.9. Linebackers are 25. Defensive tackles are 24. Defensive ends are 21. Quarterbacks are 39. Running backs are 13. Safeties are 18. And tight ends are 13. So don't fucking sit there and think you're signing Zack Baun for some fucking $11 million when these franchise tags kind of set the high bar on what you're going to do if you want to keep a guy like that on your team. Howie Roseman's not signing Zack Baun with the franchise tag of $25 million. Now, again, think about this. Over 1 year, would you sign him on a franchise tag for $25 million? And then figure it out? Ask yourself this. The Eagles are not known to doing this. Would you sign Zack Baun to see if, how about this one? Would you sign Zack Baun to a 1 year, $25 million franchise tag and find out if it's a 1 year wonder? All you're out's $25 million. Zack Baun's making 1.5 now. Who fucking cares? Would you franchise tag him? I don't think that's a stupid play. I don't think that's a stupid play. Prior to March 17th, I don't think that's a stupid play. You got to find out if he comes back and has another season, then he's 29. Then you get to negotiate lesser money. You don't want to be a dick about this, but we're talking contracts here. Would you not hang with? Hey, somebody's going to go, man, they signed him for, what's the number here? $25 million. $25 million. 1 year contract. Wow, that's a lot of money for 1 year. Yeah, but I'd rather do that than 60 and 40. 40 guaranteed, 60 on the deal. Back end, the guy sucks. Then you're pigeonholed in that deal and you got Bryce Huff hanging around your neck. Right? Hey, franchise tags are fully guaranteed. Don't panic. We got Fangio to teach. Break the bank for Baun. Okay. Hey, by the way, no wrong answer. Then in the house of veteran leadership, a necessity. Sweat can walk. Train the young pups. Okay, William, thank you for the dude, February 11th, there's no wrong answer here. Yeah, Abe, that's what the franchise tag is. It's guaranteed 100%. I don't think, somebody help me. Yes, senor. Personally, I don't think because here, I got this here too. I want to read you this. And this is what people in the NFL Players Association are saying about Howie. Follow what Senor's doing. Hey, this is a great conversation. I told you. We're still on question 2. I'm not even to question 11 yet. Hit the like button, guys. Great conversation. I want to show you something else here. Senor, I'm going to get to your take here. Has Jordan Davis done enough for an extension? Machiavelli. Let me read this to you. Okay. This is from the NFL Players Association. Let me show you something. Looming extensions that are coming up for the Eagles. Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. They're saying for the majority of the Eagles free agent moves this year, they're going to be limited to 1 to 2 year deals. That's not counting Zack Baun because of all the impending 5th-year options that are going to be coming up. Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith. Okay? They may be only in a position to sign 1 or 2 year deals because they got a but. Hey, let me show you something here. You know, Xander keeps telling you, hey, we're in a great position because we got younger players. Yeah, well, those 5th-year options, they make it harder to. This is why there's 35% turnover every year in the NFL. Why? Because you can only sign. So do you know, you want to hear something even crazier? Half the league is built on non-drafted and low picks for a reason. Not everybody can have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round tags to them. Dude, you got to steal with Mulata, a 7th round pick. He's underpaid. But Mulata was a 7th rounder. Mulata, do you understand that Jordan Mulata is not even still in the conversation on the highest paid offensive tackles in the game? Because he was so far behind the sticks on a 7th rounder. Diamond in the rough. Hey, why do you think Brady and Russell Wilson helped you build the team? Eagles too. What is the number one thing that helped the Eagles, the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson and Brady? Their quarterbacks were drafted not in the 1st round. They didn't have to give a boatload of money to them. Okay? They never had to. Brady was on a 4-year, 3-year, 7th round or 6th round contract. They addressed it in the 3rd year, gave him more money when they could, and they could build players around him. Same thing with Jalen. Owner came parachuting in going, hey, give him the money up front. Fuck it. See if he'll take a lesser base. It's exactly what they did. Later round picks, if you hit on them, give you autonomy to build your roster up. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Hey, dickhead. I said this, fuckface. Anytime you wanted to say world champions, I'll stop the show. Go back to your closet, kid. Because you draft later and you get those hits later, that helps out. You're building your roster. Okay? That helps you out. So once again, let me go back to the first and foremost question. How much are you willing to pay Zack Baun will be a major conversation. And like I said, I don't know Zack Baun from a can of paint. I have no idea who Zack Baun is. Gary Cobb on our program right here talked to Zack Baun minutes after the Super Bowl and said, hey, he goes, what are you going to do in the offseason? I don't know. My agent will decide that. Then Gary talked to the agent. The agent said, we're going to test free agency. Fox 29's Gary Cobb. That's why we get him on. I didn't say it. We're going to break them. I believe you should. That's right. Very good stuff. Thank you, Bob, for having some common sense. Sills, this exercise is showing us that salary discrepancies between O and D we've discussed at the beginning of the year is going to handcuff us in moves on offense. That's right. Because of all the money you've got on one side of the ball and a miss with Huff, Bradbury. Now, Bradbury comes off the books. So listen to this. Are you going to keep Slay? Bob, can you tell me? Kyle, you're my statistician. Okay? How much is Slay projected to make? Sills, you got anything was bad that ain't shit? Hey, James, I love you, man. I think your Commanders are going to have a great offseason because they got the money and the picks. Okay? Abe, is that right? How much is Slay going to make? How much is Darius Slay going to make? Slay wants to come back. And if he can make it work, by the way, that's Drew Rosenhaus. Okay, that's Drew Rosenhaus, too. Okay? Bob says that Slay is 13-7. That's the cap hit. That doesn't mean. Okay, so 13-7, projecting probably around 9. Slay is in the 13 range. So here you got a $14 million corner, and you got a guy that is probably coming off the books of Bradbury, right? What are you going to do with Bradbury? I thought it was more 10-2, Tony. I thought it was in that 10 range. I thought they cut a new deal last year, or maybe going into this year with Slay. Okay? So I don't know what Bradbury's doing on the fucking team. I mean, they kept that guy around, man. Okay? Dude, if you think signing Baun is going to be a cakewalk, you're out of your mind. Yeah, but by the way, like I said, so if you give these contracts up, you got Jordan. Are you giving Jordan Davis? Well, let me get through my 10 things here, because this was something that I kind of wanted to hold off on. You got pending deals coming up. Here's another one. Do you need more depth now in your D line now that Williams is leaving? Do you draft the D lineman or do you sign one? Howie can't sign a D lineman. He's got to sign a B student again or draft one. So are you going to go into the draft with the D lineman? If I'm Howie, I'm going to stay away in the D line, especially in the tackle position. I'm going to stay away from veterans. Why? Because they're cheaper. They're on rookie deals. And I've got 2 veteran guys. Hey, by the way, will somebody do me a favor? Is Ojimo, is that guy a free agent? Because I'll tell you what, I wrote it down here. Ojimo and Booker, they can play. Okay, are you going to be willing to lose one of them guys? Okay. He just finished his second year, got him another year. Okay, good. At least another year. He'll be in his third year. You got another year with him. Okay. Keep that there. But you're losing Williams. You're losing Williams and Sweat in your D-line. Are you going in the draft? Or are you going to go free agent? Remember, you got to pay Zack Baun. You got extensions coming up. What are you doing? Number 4. Do the Eagles really want Mekhi Beckton back? At what price? Here we go again. If this is our new normal, we're going to have to learn to walk away from players, develop and get used to picking in the 30s, etc. This is what coaching is so vital and sustains success. Dude, why do you think the Patriots in Kansas City move off of great players? Exactly what you're saying, William. They move off of Tyreek Hill. They move off of Honey Badger. They moved off of Richard Seymour. They moved off of Darrelle Revis. These were guys that were Hall of Famers in their prime. They moved off of. Richard Seymour made the Pro Bowl like 3 or 4 more times with the Raiders. Revis ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year with the Jets. That's exactly right. You've got to be willing to walk away from some of these guys for roster integrity. Do you know that I used to say this all the time about Bill Belichick and the Patriots? Their cap integrity from top to bottom was insane great. They never overpaid for anybody. Dallas's biggest mistakes they make, they overpay for everybody. That's why they have not had great success. They overpay for everybody. New England never, and nor does Kansas City now. They never overpay. General, look at this guy. Haven't we had a parade yet? Bro, what do you want me to sit around here all fucking day cheering? Nobody's never been. Sit around here fucking worrying, having parades all day. I do a talk show, guy. Not a fucking cheerleader show. Wrong show, man. You get plenty of those around Philly right now. That's not what I do. Sit around talking about fucking celebrating all day. And I told you on this program at the beginning of the show, I'll always stop for someone that says world champion Eagles. Did I not say that? Use your fucking ears. Here's another. Hey, Beckton. How much do you want Beckton back? Let's see what the cap's going to be for offensive linemen. Franchise tags $24 million. Franchise tags $24 million. Kai Beckton is starting O-line on a team that had a 2,000-yard rusher. Major part of it. How much you paying him? And when I say how much do you want Beckton back? How much is, you know where you show me your love? In the paycheck. I don't want this kind of talk. Don't tell me how fucking great I am and pay me peanuts. Because then I don't believe you. And you're trying to give me those attaboy conversations. Nobody likes attaboy conversations when you're a professional. They know you're full of shit. Boy. Woof. Yeah, I'm the 20th paid guy in the team. Attaboy, fuck that. On that note, world champs, babe. I told you, Gabe. All supers that have world champs in it always have time for that. Eagles aren't in cap hell. They're well They're a well-run organization. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, are you going to pay a guy? How much are you going to pay Beckton? How much do you love him? 15? You think that's enough to keep him? Or do you think there'll be a team out there like Kansas City who needs to rebuild their old line that will offer him 18.5 or $20 million a year? Dude, I know no disrespect to Xander and John McMullen this morning. Tyler Steen's not Mekhi Beckton. He's the next guy. And Jeff Stoutland we trust. Sure, okay. But Beckton's a different animal, man. 6'8", 380. Massive size in there. You lose size and you lose athletic ability. Tyler Steen is not that guy. He's a decent player. Beckton, you know why he's crying on the sidelines? He didn't know how good he was a guard. You act like Steen's a scrub. No, you're downsizing. Literally. By the way, you haven't replaced the right guard position until Mekhi Beckton got here when you lost Sayamalo. You've never replaced. Well, Juergens did an okay job, but he wasn't. He wasn't Isaac Sayamalo. Isaac Sayamalo was better than Cam last year. Cam was functional. Isaac Sayamalo ended up getting a $16 million deal with the Steelers. Pretty good offensive talent last year. They ended up falling off the planet last year. Here's number 5. Does Barkley have enough help for 2025? Do you think Barkley needs more help? Okay? No. Okay, let's take a look at this. Barkley stats. Let's take a look. This year with Saquon. Let's take a look where he is. Saquon had led the league in carries for the first time in his NFL career. Prior to the 345 carries, he had 100 more carries than the year previous. He had 75 more than the year previous to that. He had 260 to the year previous to that. He had 310 before the year in 20. He had 160 more carries this year than he did in 19. And he had 200 more carries this year than he did in his first year. So for the first time in his career, at the age of 27, going to be 28, you think Saquon Barkley, what did we say? He had another 60 some odd carries, well over 400 carries, plus the receiving touches. How many receptions did he have this year? He had 33. So you're talking about a guy with about 450 touches this year. You think Barkley needs more help next year? Do you? Would you draft a running back? High pick? Guys, do me a favor. Please give me a total on the likes. 99% of you guys are great in here today. Just fantastic. Great stuff. I mean, guys are on top of it. Hey, by the way, isn't it great to be celebrating, talking about your team of 25 and how you're going to repeat? Dude, Howie's already hard at work. What do you think? He's drinking from his cleat? He's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Congratulations, man. I mean, to me, this is, hey, and by the way, I want to say one thing. You know how you guys are in here saying celebrating the parade and all, which is true. Do you think your championship team was made starting February, probably through April? Do you think that's when your football team was made? Your championship football team was put together from February until June, right? You didn't build your football team in September. You built it now. You became Super Bowl champions in February. And if you want to be Super Bowl champions again, you're building your team from February to June. Are you not? And for the record, here on February 11th, I'm not telling you you're not re-signing anybody or you're re-signing everybody. I don't know. Remember what my topic was? Big Sills, big questions heading into the offseason. Don't get your fucking panties in a bind. Relax. Calm down. Enjoy yourself. Stop crying. I think Barkley needs some help. Here's another one. Who will be the next offensive coordinator? And how will that coordinator change the offense? What do you think Milton Williams makes next year? $20 million. I'm not sure if we're going to get Scatterboo in the draft, but he'd fit right into this offense since he's more of a power runner with elusive ability. Yeah, I like him a lot, man. Dude, I like his story too. What is it, Sacramento State? He went to that, had no scholarship offers. And then he turns over at Arizona State, turns into a superstar kid. I like him, man. I think we have good enough coaching in place to be able to move off all three guys and not see a major drop-off. You mean like 23, when you moved off of every linebacker you had. You moved off of Epps in the secondary, and you had a shit 23. Hey, dude, I'm not saying that you're going to have 23. I am not saying that. We're having a conversation on February 11th. Okay? And you may be right. That's 20. You may be right. Remember what I said. These are questions I'm asking you on February 11th. Don't get so sensitive, folks. If we lose more, you've already lost him. He's the new head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. He's gone. He's done. It's gone. I reported it earlier. He's gone. He's done. That's why I said the next offensive coordinator, how much is he going to change the offense? Why would you? You want a Super Bowl playing it that way. Now, do you want to elevate and do you want to get better? Every coordinator is not the same. You could have this. You know what's funny? I was talking to Xander prior to the show, and this kind of goes along with like being a coordinator and also a talk show host. Rush Limbaugh, I've told you this story years ago. I went down to West Palm when he had his studios in West Palm. And Rush Limbaugh, my agent, and a guy who ran iHeart for 25 years programming, his name was Gabe Hobbs. He found me along with Randy Michaels. Legendary broadcasters. They sent me down to Rush for 10 days. Everything I knew about broadcasting, I ripped up after that day. Rush Limbaugh goes like this. I want you to read the Miami Herald to me. So I'm reading the Palm Beach Post, Miami Herald. And he goes, now listen to me read it. And I'm reading it back to him. And he's like, now listen to me. I listen to Rush and I'm like, holy shit, it's delivery. It's delivery of content. That's the key to this thing, isn't it? He goes, yes. You now know what the secret of Rush is. It's the delivery of content. Same thing with a coordinator. You can have the same playbook that Kellen Moore leaves behind or Shane Steichen. That doesn't necessarily mean Brian Johnson's going to read it the same way and deliver the content of the playbook the same way. You think that transition's going to be easy? Didn't it start out rough when you were 2-2? That's not what you think. Well, we'll get a new coordinator in here, and it'll be just a snap. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Is Clint Hurt getting the DC job elsewhere? Gabe, I think it's going to be Brandon Staley or Clint. I'm hoping Clint stays in Philly. Kevin Patullo's going to be the guy elevating from within again. How'd that work out last time? Just asking. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd do it again. Not every hire has anything to do with the previous fire. It has nothing to do with it. Okay? It has nothing. Machiavelli, do you go full back in the draft? Oh, so you want to go I formation and get rid of the – oh, wait. Machiavelli with a good take. Machiavelli, do you want to take the third wide receiver out and put an I formation back there to help out Barkley, put a fullback back there, take the third wide out, have two wide receivers, tight end, fullback, and that helps Barkley? Not a bad thought. You get nothing out of the dumb shit wide receiver 3 anyway. I mean, you get nothing out of that anyway. Why not drop a fullback back there? You're a fucking running team. Shit, you know what I might do? I might put Micaiah Beckton's ass back there at my fullback and then run that thing with 6 offensive linemen. Shit, you think tush push? You'd never stop that Eagle team. Holy shit. That was another one. I'm going to get Xander up here in a second. This wide receiver 3 thing, hey, why don't you help Hurts out a little more and make wide receiver 3 more productive? You think that would help Jalen out a little more? If you actually made that thing a competitive position? I mean, oh, man. We broke news yesterday here and didn't even know until someone pointed it out to me by the name of Drew Rosenhaus. Boy, if you think, hey, that Oren Burks, or not Oren Burks, but Zack Baun is going to sign a contract when you got a stiff on that team that's making 3 years, $51 million. And the franchise tag's $24 million. Woo! Remember, go back and listen to the interview. Gary Cobb said it. He talked to his agent. And that ain't a Sileo-ized. Yeah. All right, my friends. Hey, enjoy yourself at the parade. Please hit that like button. Give me a total on the likes. I appreciate it. Get your Watson's ass out of here. You bet. I don't have a problem with that shit. Let's bring in our man, hardest working man in Philadelphia sports. It is our friend, Xander Krause.
What's up, Big Silly?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I was out in the city today down at the Mitchell and Ness shop. See, I picked up this fresh freaking hat. Dude, and I got a special jacket. We're gonna premiere tonight on the channel with me and Krause. All right, we're gonna do another interview together tonight, another segment together tonight. So I'll pull out the special new Mitchell and Ness jacket. All right, the championship jacket tonight.
What's
will be
that
pulled out
like?
for the channel?
What's that place like? It's one of the greatest.
It's so cool.
Dude,
it's so cool.
I was looking at a Dick Allen jersey, a Phillies Dick Allen jersey in there, man, number 15. And I'm looking at it in there, man. They've got like Namaths. They've got Bednareks in there. They've got some of the greatest jerseys and all the stuff that you can. Seriously, of all the shops that you want to buy shit, they got Jackie Robinson stuff.
I got to get out of that shop when I'm in there. All right. You know what starts
Oh,
happening?
I would go crazy.
You know what starts happening? I feel something in my pocket, right? I feel something like, what's that in my pocket? It's my wallet. It's on fire. The thing starts, oh my God. I can't do it. I got to get out of there, man. I got to get out of there. I got to get out of that shop. But no, it's a nice store, man. It's good stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We'll do that tonight on the channel at 7:00 for anybody that wants to tune in. That should be a good one.
Absolutely, man. I'll be looking forward to that as well. Let's start it off with the news of the day. You need a new OC again.
Yeah, man. Not ideal, but look, Kellen, you can't be mad at him, right?
No.
He earned this. I mean, he earned this. So I just think the setup is not great. I mean, and John always, and I'm going to argue with this again. I'm going to, for those who are Birds 365 listeners, I'm in the mood to start a fight, and I'm going to start a fight with John tomorrow on this because he tells me, this is what happens when you're a good team. And I look at Jalen Hurts' career, and I look at the amount of change, and I say, there's not another quarterback in the league that has had this many changes. Now, I understand it's going to be a product of success. I understand when you stink and don't meet expectations, you're going to fire a coach. This is too much change. Look, we talk about, you asked me something on the postgame show. You said, what does the second Super Bowl mean to you as a fan of the Eagles? And I immediately told you that it makes me want more. I want our own dynasty that we can talk about. I hear it from 49ers fans all the time about the glory days. I hear it from the Cowboys fans. I hear it from Steelers fans. Why can't we have our own dynasty? You think we're going to get that with a revolving door? Now, the pushback I know is going to be, well, you just won a Super Bowl with a new coordinator. And I understand it. But to sit here and say you believe you're going to get the most out of your quarterback with this change, it stinks, bro. It stinks. So it is what it is. But
the flaw, Xander, the flaw in the whole process, and it's not a Philly flaw, it's an NFL flaw. If you don't have a play calling head football coach, you have massive success, you're never going to have this problem in Los Angeles with the Rams. Why? McVay's that guy. You're not going to have it in Green Bay. You're not going to have it in Kansas City. You're not going to have it in San Francisco. You're not going to have that in certain places that have play calling head football coaches. Look at the Bucs. The Bucs have 2 years in a row where they lost their OC. And I'm not saying they're winning at the same level you are, but they go through the same dynamic that you've gone through the last 2 years for their quarterback. How in the hell are you supposed to develop? Now, I do think that Bruce Arians in the building has a lot to do with Baker Mayfield's turnaround and the stability that he has there as senior executive to Todd Bowles. However, you're going to face this all the time. You're never going to get this kind of growth from Jalen Hurts. You're going to get this increments,
right?
Because you're going to get, you know, an accordion of that thing that goes in and out. You're going to have him go in like he did earlier this year and expand out. You're never going to get this kind of growth by your quarterback.
I know, which is a pain.
You got different. Remember that thing I told you prior to the program? I said, you know how Rush Limbaugh read the Palm Beach Post differently than how I read it?
Right.
Same thing in reading a playbook and a play caller to a quarterback. It's going to sound different.
Yeah, I agree. No doubt it does sound different. Ooh, Deshae just brings up an interesting name there. Byron Leftwich.
I love him.
I love him too. He coached Brady in that Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Yeah. That's a good name, Deshae. And he was a hot head coach candidate for a minute until all of a sudden he wasn't. That was a weird thing.
But Xander, he did something you said to do. He turned down the Jag job and then he got fired. Okay, the following year. Okay, after both. I mean, so that's again, true. And by the way, Ben Johnson, you think he's got a better job coaching Caleb Williams now than he would have with Jaden Daniels? He waited a year, and now he's got the Chicago job versus not taking that Washington job that was offered to him at $16 million. $14 million, I think it was. He got more money.
I thought he got 13 this year.
Oh, he did? So he took a pay cut and got a less.
No, I don't think they offered him that. The story with the number last year was that's what he wanted. I don't think he got that. Yeah, I don't think he got offered that. But he did get offered a big number. And
he got offered.
You're right. Look, this is why Kellen took the job. You can't sit around and wait. So I get it. I'm not, like I said, you're not going to beat up on Kellen more. I wish there was a little bit of a process better, but John, the way John explains it to me, it looks like it's going to be Kevin Patullo, who's the assistant head coach right now, and he does a lot. He works a lot. If you remember down at Radio Row, not you, but people in general, for anybody that consumed Eagles content all week, Kevin Patullo did talk, and Kellen Moore talked about Kevin Patullo. They both worked very closely together this year. So the reason I like Patullo is it give you a little bit of that consistency that you're getting, right? Because the guy's been in the room. He knows what you've been working on. He understands what the offense has been. He understands where you are as a quarterback in that offense. Maybe you add a couple of things you like that Kellen did that you don't like, but there's still at least some change over there. But the other side of it is that's one side of the aisle. The other side of it is this is the hottest offensive coordinator job in the NFL in terms of talent.
Well, you're either going to be fired or you're going to get a head coaching job.
That's true. But I mean, there's a lot of talent.
I'm not saying that, but Kellen didn't utilize that talent. I mean, he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah, he was underwhelming. I thought Kellen was.
Wait a minute. He utilized it when he had to in the playoffs. I mean, they utilized it.
Yeah, they're two best teams.
They were a completely different team in the playoffs than they were in the regular season. Don't you agree?
And then specifically,
they threw the ball more.
Yeah, not in the first two games. The last two games, yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, I mean, that's important though. So the two biggest games of the year, you put your best performances together. Yeah, I'll take that. I can live with that.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, dude, Kevin, like I said, February 11th, there's no bad answer here right now, man. We're talking, like I said, it's funny, people getting a little bit bent out of shape. I'm like, Big Sil's questions on February 11th for the Eagles heading into the offseason. People are like, you're saying we're not going to – I'm not saying shit right now. But I'm telling you, if you think in here – let me go to the questions with you, and I'll start – I barely got off of one for about 45 minutes today. How much are you willing to pay Zack Baun?
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
By the way, yesterday, you and me didn't say this. Gary Cobb said he talked to the agent, and he talked to Zack right after the game in the locker room. And he said verbatim, hey, I'm going to let my agent handle that. And then he talked to the agent. The agent said, why wouldn't we test free agency? Those were Gary from Fox 29's words.
All right, here's what I'm going to say.
Spoke to the agent and spoke to Zack.
Zack Baun is an interesting one because the $20 million people, and I said I'd be willing to pay that, but it shouldn't take that to get it done. The $20 million, it might, because you have stupid teams in the league. And
right.
The stupid teams in the league are going to come to him and give him $20 million, when in reality, I love Zack Baun and I want him back. He's not really a $20 million player. He's had one amazing year, but he is not 4 or 5 year guy that a team knows what they're getting. All right. It's a gamble to pay on Zack Baun at $20 million a year.
Franchise tag him. 1 year, $24 million. Find out what you got.
Yeah, but Howie doesn't like that because $24 million hits your cap and you can't manipulate it. Versus Howie,
fully guaranteed.
It's fully guaranteed, and you can't manipulate the cap room. You can't even push things out. So Howie's not going to go down that road. He's not.
Okay, I agree.
But where's the sweet spot? I think to a great team, a great GM, Baun is a $12 million a year guy.
You're going to pay him less than
no. I'm not saying he's going to get that. Let me finish. The great GMs would look at him and say 12 mil, top, all pro, but he only had 1 year. The shitty GMs who are desperate and in Jacksonville and in the shitty organizations will give him 20 mil. Does Howie say yes at 15? Because remember, Howie's a smart GM and Howie knows he's a smart GM. That's an important factor right there. He doesn't like to break his standards.
You offered a guy to play outside linebacker to you 3 years, $51 million, and you're going to offer him $500,000 more on a 3-year deal?
Let me ask you this. Let's do contract projections right now for these people. Would you pay Zack Baun what we just paid Bryce Huff? 3 years, $51 million?
That's a deal. Steal.
That's $17.5 million a year.
I thought he's $14.5 a year.
No. Bryce Hufflepuff? Mm-mm.
So wait a
You're
minute.
low.
Wait.
You're low. Hufflepuff is 18, 17.5.
17.5. You got to pay him 20.
No, because Huff's an edge.
Okay.
I think Josh
for a guy
Sweat,
who doesn't play on your defense.
I think Josh Sweat is going to get what Huff got.
Okay. Well, let me say this to you. So you got a guy on your football team that has a contract that doesn't even play. and was deactivated for the Super Bowl healthy scratch, who's making $17 million. You're making $1.5 million. And I know there's
comp
6
that because
teams out there, like you said, that are dumb as the rocks that are in the ocean. You know someone's going to come up and go, here's $60 million for 3.
I'd go. I already told everybody I would be willing to go to 20 for Baun. Me personally, and maybe that makes me a dumb GM.
No, because the cap's going to 75.
The cap's going to 75. One, if you give him 20 million, you can probably get him on a shorter deal because you can load the money up front, give him it fully guaranteed, manipulate the cap down a little bit. Then you get out of the contract in a couple of years when you got to extend Carter, extend Nolan Smith, extend all these other guys. You're already going to probably be reworking Jalen Hurts' contract, AJ Brown, all these contracts that are going to be in the future. You can push it off a little bit. I would be willing to do it for one simple reason. It's the only layer of the defense right now that's not secure. Nakobe Dean's hurt. What are you doing there? He's going to return. Is he going to be the same player? Will he play at the start of the year? You don't have a backup. Oren Burks is another free agent. Do you want to bring Oren Burks back? He was pretty good at the end of the year. He was good relief when Nakobe Dean went down. So if you're going to let Baun walk, you're telling me we're going to return next year with a whole new set of linebackers and have the same defense that we have? There's no way in hell. So you already have your young guys on the D-line. You got Nolan Smith, you got Jalen Carter, you got Jordan Davis, and maybe Milton Williams. We'll talk about him. Probably not, but we'll talk about him. Then you got in the secondary, you got DeJean, you got Mitchell, you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Reed Blankenship, all under contract for next year. All good. So the only spot on your defense is the linebacker, and you look at the defense. First year we have an all-pro linebacker, and we have the number 1 overall defense in the NFL. First year we have an all-pro linebacker. We make Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes look like shit in the Super Bowl. First year we have an all-pro linebacker, and defense wins championships again. I'm not letting that walk out the room.
I think you got more questions on defense than you think. Here's another one.
I think that's a Sileo-made narrative.
Okay. Well, we'll find out here, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. Who are you replacing Josh Sweat with?
Well, you obviously have the young guys in the wings. You expect.
So right now you got to deal with Baun, and now who are you replacing Sweat with?
You're replacing him with Nolan Smith, who's going to be a 10+ sack guy next year.
Who's your other edge?
Right now, Jalen Hurts, and then you got to add someone.
Okay, so you're going to go draft or free agency?
It's a good question. Who are the free agent defensive ends on the market this year?
We're just talking. No, we'll get to all this. Are you going to go free agent and draft? Is that what you're going to do?
You're probably looking at a defensive end in the draft.
Okay, all right.
There's not many defensive ends.
We're starting to process out. We'll get into all that here.
Let me throw a name at you.
All right.
Chase Young.
For depth and rotation, I'm okay with him.
How about this? Chase Young to split time with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And then you got
or a rookie. Or the rookie you're going to try.
I'm not a big fan of Chase Young either. That's why I wanted to see what you said.
But
hear me out, everybody. Hear me out.
You got to remember something here coming up. And this is, like I said, according to overthecap.com, you've got looming extensions coming up with Davis, Jurgens, Carter, and Smith. This is why, again, according to the NFL Players Association, don't be shocked if you see these moves this year coming up, that the Eagles don't go 3 years, they go 2-year contracts, 1 or 2 again, and load up like they did in 22 on 1-year contracts. They got a lot of, with all those young players that you named, Xander, and all those guys, you got looming 5-year contract extensions coming up.
Yeah.
You've got to project out on what you're going to do. So you've got to go, well, wait a minute. If we're starting to put 3-year, someone, then you get yourself behind the 8 ball and someone's got to go.
You're going to give Huff another year. I agree with Yale. But everybody's snapping that I said Chase Young. I wasn't saying sign Chase Young.
He's throwing a name out as a body.
I was going to give you a couple names. Josh Sweat's a free agent. Chase Young's a free agent. Charles Omena, who's a free agent. And then you're up in the 30 rank. Marcus Davenport, maybe. Then you're up in 30-plus-year-old guys. Howie's not signing a 30-plus-year-old guy. The only other guy out there would be Cleveland Farrell.
Fuck these guys. These are bums.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So there's nobody on free agency. And the other thing I like about Chase Young is he does have that inherent talent. That's why he was such a high draft pick. And this is a way better culture.
Okay, but that is projecting that he's not going to be with the increased volume. And remember, everyone started getting on my shit when I said this. If you think that Bryce Huff is going to be a better player with higher volume of reps, you're out of your mind.
Bryce Young stinks.
Okay. Well, do you really believe that Jalen Hunt is going to be a guy that is going to be a 3-down player when he is going? Now, again, this is projecting. Do I see a lot of good signs? Yes. And I happen to agree with John on this. Is he ready right now to take on 65 snaps playing on the other side of Nolan Smith? Absolutely not. Maybe because of the coach and the coaching, Xander, maybe that gets expedited up to where all of a sudden he looks like that guy. Year 6, you don't want to be pigeoned with a free agent contract that you are, again, having a Bryce Huff on your team because Hunt's better. You know what I mean? You want to give yourself some latitude to see how the kid comes along.
I agree, because Hunt he had 5 pressures in the Super Bowl. I was impressed too. That's why me and John had a funny argument about him this morning. But no, I think he's a good player. I don't know if I agree with you. You probably don't want to go into the season with him being your number 1 and your only one. I agree with that. But
I don't know.
Remember, the Myles Garrett card exists. I know it sounds crazy, but Myles Garrett's at a phase in his career right now where he is 29 years old. He's got a 3-year window to go and win a Super Bowl. He's probably looking at this Eagles team like, I'm willing to work a deal with that guy. Now, how would that work? Maybe not.
$79 million you got to renegotiate of that contract, and I believe that he would. Restructure that deal in a way that would make it conducive for him to fit. Bro, he's an game-changing football player.
Let me say something about the cap. You love talking about the cap hits, and so does everybody. How are you going to play in that? Howie Roseman has manipulated the cap to absolute perfection for every single year in the last 5 years. So much so that you turned over a max contract quarterback into another max contract quarterback and still built a number 1 defense and a top offense in the NFL.
It's not a conversation, though. Every year he has to rebuild.
I know. Well, he restructures his contracts.
Yeah,
but for me to sit here and say, for me to sit here and worry about all that stuff.
Last year he had a horrible year rebuilding.
What do you mean?
Horrible.
Super Bowl.
I'm talking to you. 23.
Okay.
He had a horrible year in 2023.
Well, not really. He drafted Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith.
You had a horrible ending to your season year.
Okay, a horrible ending to the season.
Nobody on that. You were 31st in defense.
Brother, that's a different metric than Howie Roseman.
Why? He drafted and put the free agents on that team.
Okay, so Howie Roseman had a bad year last year drafting Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith?
They were bad.
2 guys who just tormented a Super Bowl?
Dude, I'm talking 23, not 4.
That's the team success. That's coaching and players.
That's player success.
I agree. It's coaching and players.
Okay, they failed.
They failed. I don't think Howie failed last year. I think Howie had a decent year.
How were those linebackers you think he had in that 23 season?
Okay, he did. He wasn't perfect.
Let me finish. How do you think that entire defense played in the secondary? They were 31st. They were almost
it wasn't good
in defense.
I agree. It wasn't good. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying I don't look at that and say,
wait, you're missing the point. My point is that every year it is going to be what Jeff Kerr says. You're going to be. He took a swing on Huff and missed. Nolan stepped in. Jalen Hunt stepped up. The injury to Brandon Graham was actually the greatest thing ever happened to those 2 players. No doubt about it. But you're going to wobble a little bit every year because he has turnover every year.
Dude, so does every team in the NFL.
There's no turnover in Kansas City but Nick Bolton this year.
Dude, there's 30% turnover in every team in the NFL every single year.
There's one guy in Kansas City that's going to be off that team.
You want me to worry about a team we just clapped 40-6 in a Super Bowl?
Okay. Let's go to the next question.
No, my only point was that I don't worry about the numbers as much because I think Howie's going to be good at manipulating the cap.
Okay. How about this one here? Do you need more depth in the defensive line now that you're losing Sweat and Williams?
You think they're going to lose Milton?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because I think he'll get $20 million in the open market, and he's signed Drew Rosenhaus. Dude, you signed Drew Rosenhaus for a reason. That's to take less money.
Did Milton sign Drew Rosenhaus too? Because I thought that was just Josh Sweat.
I think Milton's with him too.
No, Milton's with Martin Fishman from Ballinger Group.
Okay.
I think Milton gets $15 million a year.
You think the Eagles give him that?
I think he gets 12 to 15 million a year, maybe more if somebody's willing to go there.
Do you think the Eagles give him that?
I think 15 they would give him. I'm worried that somebody's going to pay him 20, like Hargrave.
So that means this then. You're going to pay him 15, and you're going to turn around with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith next year, and you're going to give them both contracts.
You're conflating too much stuff. You get to another year of a contract. All of that changes.
If you don't understand how fucking the NFL works, that salary.
No, that's BS.
Why do you think they set a cap?
No, because the way you're telling me
why do you think teams have 35% turnover every year?
If I listened to you, we would have never been able to sign Jalen Hurts after Carson Wentz or A.J. Brown after Devontae Smith or any of these players. Every single time, Howie gets the job done.
The reason that I completely disagree with the way you don't look at the cap, because the reason that you guys had success this year is because you paid nobody on defense, not one soul on defense, because of why? They were on rookie deals and they were on bargain deals. That's over with now that you're a champion. You've got to redo a deal for Zack Baun, and people think he's going to sign for $13 million when the tag is 25. That's out of your mind.
No, you're telling me that
Jalen Carter. He talked to the guy.
You're telling me we can't sign Zack Baun because Jalen Carter has an extension in 2 years?
After the fucking Super Bowl, that fucking they were going to test free agency.
I got Jalen Carter is 2 years away from an extension.
He didn't
think they're going to make a contract move today because they got that extension.
Like he addressed AJ last year with 2 years remaining.
You're not addressing a rookie before the 4-year period. I don't even know if you can.
Dude, after 3 years, you can.
All right. They did it with Devontae Smith, and look at what it did for him. It gave him major cap relief.
These are questions on February 11th. Don't get yourself in a bind here.
I think you're way off base on them. I'm sorry.
Whatever. I'm asking you again. Questions on February 11th. No need to get upset here.
I'm not upset. I think you're upset, but I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't think.
You can go soft pedal it with John tomorrow.
No, I think you have a forest spot. I think you have a little cookout, and you're turning it into a California wildfire. That's not what that is.
Well, go have a cookout with John in the morning when you guys talk. You come here and you act like a tough guy.
I'm not coming here and acting like a tough guy. I'm telling you that I don't think the cap is as big of a deal as you're making it out to be. Now you're taking shots at me personally.
Okay.
Because you're mad I don't agree with your bullshit cap stuff that you've been telling me for 4 fucking years.
Okay, Matt. Here we go. Do you want Micaiah Beckton back?
Depends what he gets. I'll give him 4 years, $10 million a year. If you don't want that, then he's probably going to go.
Okay. Does Barkley need more help?
Yeah, I would bring in another running back. I would like to bring in another running back, a bruiser running back that can take up a load of the carries, and you need him for the big explosive plays probably. But I don't know whether to do that. They'll probably do that 3rd round, 4th round. I'm not worried about that. I don't think they're going to sign somebody. You can't sign somebody after paying Barkley. They're not going to do that. It's a draft pick or nothing.
Dude, 345 carries is done. 400 touches.
Too many.
You think he's going to duplicate that next year?
Logic would tell you no. But
you think the new coordinator will want him to do that?
It depends. I think they're going to try and build this passing offense more, but you have such good offensive linemen. How do you go away from it if it works so well? That's my question. And then the best part about this season, the way this season ended, was they proved when they need the passing game, they have it. They proved it. They proved it on the 2 biggest stages. So I'm not going to sit here and say if they don't pass, they can't pass. Just like Jalen said, just because we don't do something doesn't mean we can't do something. And I think that has now been proved beyond the benefit of beyond a shadow of a doubt when you have a Super Bowl ring on your finger. So I think they're going to go for another running back. I don't think they're going to completely bail on this approach. It is going to bring up questions though about the receivers. That's what I 100% agree with you on.
Here's the
AJ Brown's not. I mean, he's not going to want another year of blocking on 85% of his snaps. He's just not. He's not.
Hey, okay. So this leads me to 6. how much different do you think the offense is going to look with the new coordinator?
Well, if it's Kevin Patullo, it might not look that different at all.
Okay.
I mean, he's in the room now, so he's oversaw the whole shift to what they do now. So if you bring in a pass happy guy, yeah, it's going to be. But the way John talking to me now, he believes it's going to be Kevin Patullo. But I don't know. Jeff McClain put out a report today. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie will be overseeing the entire process to hire a coordinator. Kevin Patullo is Nick Sirianni's guy. Do they have PTSD on Brian Johnson? Remember, go back to 2018 when Doug Peterson promoted from within after Frank Reich left. I don't know. They're probably going to nix it. But John,
you think they go Frank?
Nah, I don't.
I'm starting to think that too.
I think you sleep on a little bit the owner and the GM and how much they think that it's all them. So if they go back to Frank Reich, in a way, it's an admission of, he helped us bring us our first Super Bowl. They're not going to go down that road. It's also an interesting setup with Nick and Frank. I'd love Frank because I'm done with the revolving door, but they're not going to be done with it. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, man, I love you, man.
You're all mad at me because I don't agree with your bullshit capology.
Okay. I'm not. Once again, here's the question.
Wait, no, it's funny. All right. This is a
10
tough
big sales questions on February 11th. The people getting all upset.
This is a tough week for me. You know why?
What?
Because I'm reveling in the fact that we're Super Bowl world champions. And I got curmudgeon 1 in the morning and curmudgeon 2 in the afternoon. I don't want to talk about. Wait, this is John pre-show to me. I'm done. I'm done celebrating. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl anymore. I want to move on. I want to turn the page.
That's not what I said.
Free agency's coming up. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's not what I said. I said
to launch a Xander Cross show this week.
I said
to celebrate this world championship.
Anytime somebody wants to stop the show and say world champs, have at it. You should be reveling in it. Shit, I told Xander, you should be talking about being a champion way past Friday. Absolutely, man. Congratulations to you. I got to do a fucking 4-hour show, and I'm not going to sit here with a cheerleader outfit on.
I know you're not. I'm not asking you to be. I'm just telling you.
Sure, what you want me to do?
Telling you the predicament I'm in. Imagine if Miami won a title and you woke up on Monday morning to go on a show and everybody wanted to talk about the coach that got hired. You'd be like, I don't give a fuck. We're champions again. We're champions again.
You just lost the coordinator today. That's not news.
I know we did. It is news. I'm not saying you're not wrong to talk about it.
I'm
just telling you my predicament.
Hey, you know what, though? You know what? I will take that shot back at you because I like
you're taking fucking shots. It's bullshit. Yeah, you come here. People love our segment more than any other segment on the channel. Why is that?
I can see they do. Look.
We have good camaraderie. We can go back and forth.
By the way,
we're like dudes arguing football in a bar.
I do. I got it.
Johnny Mack is unarguable because there's no other opinion in the world that is allowed.
But that's because you've got some paisan in you.
That's how John operates.
That's because you got paisan in you, you fucking idiot. That's why. Let me ask you this one here, number 8. Do you think this new coordinator is going to take that 3 wide receiver hole out of it, or do you think they're going to still – Xander, why don't you try to make that position? Wouldn't it help Hurts out more in a passing game? Don't you think having that competitive, that position, don't you think having somebody or something, or just take it out like they do in Baltimore, put a fullback back there, don't you want – it's like you guys line up with 10 guys every game. Okay? I mean, wouldn't that help Hurts out more if you had somebody that was more capable in that 3 hole? What do you think the coordinator's going to do there? They're just going to line up again with 10 versus 11? I hate you get nothing out of that. And I think that hurts. You get nothing out of the slot. You get nothing out of the slot.
Wait. You're telling me we got nothing out of Jahan Dotson? Catch in the Super Bowl.
Hey, and I even said
that was the greatest trade of the offseason, baby. What? Jahan Dotson, baby. Yes. The best trade of the offseason. Everybody give me a Jahan Dotson in the chat. All right? You telling me we got nothing out of the slot. Ain't no way I'm taking that. Ain't no way I'm taking that.
Look at this guy, man. This guy's gonna be on a week Eagle float all the way through Friday. Hey, free agents, Fred Johnson and Micaiah. Do you go in the draft and get a lineman?
I think
I heard you say something this morning that at 32, do you understand, Xander, how good that pick is? You know why? I explained it to people. By the time you get to 32, the draft starts falling in order on best player available. That's why when you see those good teams picking down there, the first 15 picks are the crapshoot. Those are the wild cards, whether they're going to be great or not. As you start to get down all the way through the bottom of the draft, look at Xavier Worthy. He was the 32nd player taken. He's a starter. You're going to get started. The kid for the Bucks, who was down at 26, Barton. He's a starter.
To look out for.
That's a guy. You're going to find a starter down there, Xander.
I'll tell you something to look out for. You're going to have to learn. You want to start talking about us being like the Chiefs? You want to start talking about being a golden era? You want to start talking about building a dynasty? We got to hit on them 30 picks. That's a different beat. Picking at 10 is a whole lot different than picking at number 30. The Chiefs hit on all their 30 picks. They picked on that edge rusher, DeCarlatis late in the first round, Xavier Worthy. They had the running back 4 or 5 years ago, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, I'm missing some other guys, but the Snead guy. I mean, they've had some good picks in the draft. So you're going to be presumably after 25 for the next couple of years. Yeah. Now, our last one was Nolan Smith. That was an excellent pick, which didn't look like an excellent pick. It's turned into be an excellent pick. So you're going to have to hit on these late picks, man. It's a different beast picking late in the first versus top of the first.
That's right. You got to go best player, in my opinion, and need. See, down there, Xander, I think when you're at the top of the draft in the first round,
it's only best player.
It's only best player. Exactly. Down there, it's need and best player down the bottom of the draft. So you can pick your dude on what you're looking at, what your taste is. Do I like apple pie? Do I like pecan pie? Which one do I like there? I'll take him. I'll go there. And to me, the differences down there, Xander, between 25 and 32 are not a lot. It's probably like an inch in height or a 40-yard dash. So again, I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up going with an offensive lineman. I wrote some guys down. You got time for this?
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Okay. We'll read the super chats, guys, in a second. We appreciate you guys. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. You guys have been sensational, man. Yesterday, you were insane great. Today, you're insane great. We appreciate it, too. By the way, like I told you guys, anytime you want to stop the show, say world champs, have at it. Have at it here, okay? You could stop it with a super, put world champs. You should be reveling in it.
We are. I'm reveling in it for sure. But look, I do say this, all right? I'm one of those people that you get to the top and you start looking up and you're like, now what? Right?
Xander, don't ever say that to me. I did that. Dude. The biggest nightmare in my life. I got to the NFL. I had done this my whole life. I had my head down, grinding the fucking stone, grinding it. I'll never forget my first day. I looked up. There's my NFL locker. There's my helmet. You know what the first fucking words out of my mouth was? What do I do now? I said that. I
hear you.
Forget that. I hear
you, brother.
I went just like this. What do I do now?
That's why I like Jalen Hurts' approach on it, because he's like, we don't set things like that. We focus on the process every day. I think it honestly is good advice on it.
I didn't have a process.
You're right. It's the process every day. It's not the end result. If you put too much equity in the end result, then ultimately you're going to be left feeling empty.
Okay. These are guys that are going to be around. Now, first and foremost, let me throw this at you. Are you going to trade out of it, or are you going to trade up?
Potentially. Trading out. Remember, 32 is kind of a sneaky valuable pick because it's the last pick where you can get a a fifth-year option. So, remember the famous one last time we had the first-round pick at this time. That was the Lamar Jackson draft. So we traded the pick. You remember that? We traded the pick that the Ravens used to select Lamar Jackson with the last overall pick in the NFL draft. So it weirdly has value, and it's all going to depend on their draft board. It's all going because if they're looking like, all right, this is a trench draft, right? We want to take an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman, and they have a similarly graded lineman, at 30 through 50, they're going to trade back and probably get 2 second-round pick or something like second and a third or whatever it would be, whatever the value chart which would show you would get. They'll probably do that. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they did that. But if they really like a player that goes to 31 or 32, remember they took Nolan Smith late in the first round. I thought they were going to trade that pick. So it would have to be a player that they loved that was higher on their board that falls to 31. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. It happened on both picks last year. Quinyon Mitchell fell further than they thought, and they were able to pick him up. And then they got to like 34 or 35, and Cooper was still there, and they moved up to 40 to take Cooper DeJean. They thought he was going to be gone. So it all depends on how the board falls. I think trading would be an option, though.
Let me give you some, again, when we're talking about, picking late, not just in the first round. As everyone knows, Brady's a sixth rounder. Zach Thomas, who just went into the Hall of Fame last year, was a fifth rounder, 154th pick. Antonio Brown was a sixth rounder. If he didn't fuck his career up, he'd be in the NFL. Jason Kelsey, sixth rounder, pick number 191. Terrell Davis was a sixth round pick, 196. So when you're thinking and you're getting lower in the draft and you're getting out of that top 20, you're going to most likely land on a pretty good ball player that's going to be on your board, and you're going to go best player available. And if you've got good scouting people in your building, you're going to land on a functional guy. That's why most of those players that the Eagles draft, whether you're a seventh rounder or a first rounder, they make the team. I mean, it's very dude, the Eagles do something that no team did during my era. You know what that is? Nobody made the team after the third round. They cut them all. They cut those guys. Puka Nacua, right? A fifth rounder.
Yeah, we're going to have to be good in the late rounds, man. That's part of keeping your dynasty as well. I mean, and look, they've actually been good. Milton in the third, Jalix Hunt in the third. A lot of these are looking pretty good now. It'd be great if Keely Ringo panned out as a fourth rounder from a couple of years ago. He's still a really young player, so he's only 21. So
was Mulatto sixth or seventh?
Seventh. Mulatto was a seventh. Greatest seventh round pick outside of Brady. I guess was Brady 7 or 6? He was 6.
He was 6. I can't think of a seventh round pick that.
Dude, if Mulatto.
Mulatto's Hall of Fame talent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now he's got a ring. So, I mean, you might be talking about a Hall of Fame career. He could be one of the greatest seventh round picks of all time if he goes into the Hall. Ajomo as a seventh was good, Bob Brown. I talked about him this morning. That was a great pick. He contributed this year as well. So, yeah, you got to be good in those late rounds.
That kid Booker's good too.
Yeah, Thomas Booker. Yeah, he's good.
Here's some guys at 32 that are going to be around that number that I wrote down here. Michael Williams, Georgia, edge. Tell you what, at one time, man, last year, people weren't talking too kindly of them Georgia guys. All of a sudden now, you're starting to think fucking a little different about them Georgia boys now. Ain't we here, man? So
I think you could argue that they were the difference between Super Bowl 57 and 59.
You know, Jalen said that. Jalen said that their energy and their camaraderie playing at Georgia had a lot to do with what they did on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't want to let one another down. And
here's the thing there. All right. It pains me to say this as an Alabama guy, but that team had championship pedigree for a 4 or 5 year period at Georgia. Now they still do. 2 national titles. And they had to, more importantly, being a champion is not just about getting the hardware sales. You understand this. Being a champion is a mindset and a mentality, an approach to the game and an approach to life. And they came from that program when that program was at its best. All right. And they've done a really good job, man. They have a champion's mindset. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, even Nakobe Dean. I mean, all these dudes, it's impressive.
Let me ask you something here. So Jalen Carter, is this going to be his third year?
Coming up will be his third year. Yep.
Okay. So you're telling me in a 5-year window, he won 2 national titles and a Super Bowl?
That's crazy. Did he win 2 natties with Georgia?
Yeah, he won 2.
Did they go back to back?
Yeah. They didn't win. Remember, they were going for a 3-peat.
Right, they were going for the 3-peat. That's right.
So in a 5-year window, that dude's got 2 national titles, was undefeated in his life. So let me look at this here. So he's lost last year. You lost 6 in the regular season. They lost none. He's lost 6 games in 5 years. No, how many did he lose this year? He's lost 9 games in 5 years.
That's a winner, bro. You got winners on this team. This team doesn't, the best part, these dudes don't know how to win. Winning can be a habit. Winning
I don't think they know how to lose.
They don't know how to lose. That's what I mean. Winning is a habit and losing can become a habit too. You get to a losing organization. Cam Newton talked about that the other day, and everybody got all mad at him because he was acted like he was calling out players. But I understood exactly what he was saying. You show up in the locker room and you're a champion, and you come to a team that was 2-15 last year. That locker room doesn't know how to win, man. They go in there, they're used to losing every single game. You know how it is. I mean, You came from Miami. You guys lost what? 3 games in 4 years? I mean, 1 game. I mean, it's
1 game in 3 years.
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That is
1
crazy.
game. I lost more games in my first year with the Bucks than I did in high school and college combined.
There's a good comment here by Bob Brown. I'll bring it up here before we go to our supers. Xander, when you're chasing something, it's in your sight. When you're out in front and being chased, your focus becomes your discipline. You need to stay disciplined to fend off the pack. I agree with that. It's a different beast when you're out in front versus when you're chasing somebody. I agree.
Would you rather be the hunter or the hunted?
Right now, I'd rather be the hunted. We've been hunting. We've been hunting for 50 years. Let's be the hunted for a little while. All right.
We're going to get to the supers here. I want to just go through some of these names. Tyler Booker, O-line, Alabama, 6'5", 325. I love this kid here, man. I thought he had a whale of a playoff for the colleges, and Jack Sawyer will be down there. 6'5", 260, edge rusher, Ohio State.
I love him. I love that player.
You're not going to get Abdul Carter.
I know you're not, but is Sawyer going to fall to the bottom of the first?
They got him down there around 25 to 32.
That's if he falls to 31, I would take him.
If Sawyer fell to 25, I might do some maneuvering to
move up. Jack Sawyer. Let's see where he's projected. Because I like Jack Sawyer.
I've seen 13, but I've also seen 25, 24, 27. I would, if he's round in there from like 20 to 25 to 32, I might go get him.
He's 6'5" and 260. That's perfect.
And he was money in the postseason.
Money. I like Sawyer. I don't know where he'll go though.
But here's another one here. That James Pierce, I've seen anywhere from 9 to 26. I don't know why he's fluctuating so much. A kid from Tennessee, 6'5", 243. He's another one of those edge guys. Some of the quarterbacks, and the shitty quarterbacks that are in this draft, and I mean that even with Cam.
I know.
I just think they're shitty, man.
I'm not a big fan either.
They're going to fall, and you're going to get good players down there.
I don't know. Here's the thing, though. This is one of the most interesting parts about the modern NFL game. All right, is that quarterbacks can come into the league now and have success quicker if they have good coaching, because most of them are athletic and dual threat. You look at Jaden Daniels, and I'm not taking away from Jaden Daniels, but he didn't have to be a great processor of football early in his career, right? Because he's got the legs. So it's a different era. Like if Shedeur Sanders gets with the right coach, I'm not the biggest fan of him, to be honest with you, but it wouldn't surprise me if he won games. You take Cam Ward, but that big arm, you get the right coach with him. I think he could be a guy that could do something in year 1, year 2, year 3. So that I think was what's the most enticing part about quarterbacks in the modern game with all these dual threat guys. I think it's great for the league. I thought John Morgan explained it really well, honestly, with how fast paced the quarterbacks are. I think it's totally added a new element to football, man.
The game is such a great place right now with these quarterbacks. Now They play at a faster pace. I think it's got a lot to do with those 7-on-7 and those quarterback schools. These kids are more prepped now coming into the league than it was back in the day. I mean,
dude, I got something for you. I bought you a plane ticket for the parade on Friday. You coming?
He's lying. He did not. He's lying.
No, I was
He's
just going to use the one that's still on the bulletin board. I was just going to use that one. I called the airline. They're like, yeah, we'll re-up it. That's good.
See, this is why this segment's good, because I can be a dick, he can be a dick, and he's being a dick. But that's all right.
I think the great people of Philadelphia would love for you to be down.
Oh, yeah, right.
Who's going to the parade in the chat? I need to know who's going to the parade. I'm going to be going down to the parade.
Are you going to do anything down there?
I will find my way at the parade, some way, somehow.
Are you gonna do anything down there? You should do your
well,
life.
Well, here's what I have right now. I'm trying to, Yale. That's a very tough thing to do because I don't have a lot of manpower, Yale, as you know. But I have talked to somebody down there who might be able to get me a setup for Birds 365 in the morning from down there. And then what I'd like to do, my ideal scenario would be if we can get a pack of JAKIB Nation together, we could all do the parade together, and then I would be able to film footage that I can post up on the channel after the fact. I'll join Sileo's show by phone for an interview and stuff. I'd love to do that. So if anybody's going down to the parade, please let me know. I would love nothing more than to see the great people of JAKIB Nation down at the parade.
Let's do some of these supers, brother.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Khaled checks in. What's up, Khaled? Tell Abdul to gain 50 pounds, smoke a bong. We need him. He wants him to drop. If he hits a bong on draft night, I don't even know if that'll do it.
Oh, wait. Oh, so you want him to do
the gas mask.
Like the Houston Texans O-lineman, and you want him to take one of them gas masks off, have him smoke some weed. Yeah, that would get it done.
That's hilarious.
Hey, by the way, all supers go to the top right now, guys. We're reading the supers.
Yeah, Rico says we need a JAKIB booth. I'd love to get one. All right. Machiavelli says we might see a similar draft to last year. Defensive players didn't get picked till bottom of the first. It was all offense. Let them fall to us. Yeah, the thing is, though, I do think you want to get an offensive lineman in the chamber here that Stoutland can start working on.
First, second, or third?
Well, I think it depends on how the board falls, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did it in the first round. If a couple defenders that they wanted or an edge they wanted wasn't there and they didn't value the other guys. I mean, remember, this team loves trenches. This is how this and I know they're not flashy picks, and we've had a lot of fun recently with some fun draft picks, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and Devontae Smith, and I get it, but the reason this fucking team is good so consistently is because our trenches are bullies. So it wouldn't bother me one bit if they drafted an offensive lineman in round one. In fact, I think that's what you should do to continue to be a championship organization.
What was the most glaring thing in that Super Bowl on Sunday?
Yeah,
you had both lines, D-line and O-line, dominated the game.
Dude, we bullied them. We bullied that team. They weren't ready for us.
Beat the shit out of them.
And Yale, you're right. They're really good at it, and they have the right. Boy, I hope. Can I say I do? I hope that Clint Hurt doesn't leave.
Me too.
But I have a feeling he's gonna.
Yeah, but I think it's between him and Brandon Staley.
Oh, who would you take? The guy that just coached Nolan Smith to 14 sacks and whatever. How many sacks?
Kellen Morris hires Brandon Staley. That's a butt buddy hire.
I'm not a Clemson. I'm not a.
And I'll tell you why. Remember who brought Kellen to Los Angeles? Right. Brandon Staley. That's a butt buddy hire.
That's a butt buddy hire. That's so true. That's a butt buddy hire. That's a perfect name for it.
You better not do that, man. That'll be a disaster.
Yeah, I'm all right. A lot of people are going to the parade. That is sick. I hope we can organize something. We have a couple days to talk about it on the channel. All right. So on Xander time tomorrow morning after Birds 365, I'll kick it around with some of you guys. See what
you giving more of that stuff away this week too?
Yeah, I got to go. I didn't get in. My guy wasn't available yet, so I'm probably going tomorrow or Thursday. But I do have the fresh championship jacket. I thought I was going to be wearing the Princess Diana jacket to the parade.
Hey, man,
shelf that one.
I want to tell you something. I like that look with you and your dad.
Yeah, we're doing that
with that stand up.
Yeah, we're going to do that tonight. I got to go over to. I
like the stand up gig.
Yeah.
What's different?
More of that. I keep telling Sileo to move the hell out of California. Move to the studio, brother. I'll get us a studio, and he'll come in. But he's like, I love California. I love internet outages. I didn't say I love the hell out of there, Sileo. You can be a star again in the city of Philly.
I'm already a star, bitch.
I know you are, but you could be the biggest star in the world, Sileo. A-Team says, Big Z, I'm trying to go, but I may have to work. Trying to get work to close early so I can go with my fiance. I didn't go to the first parade. I didn't go to the first parade either. I was in Alabama. So
How many people are you expecting there Friday?
they're expecting over 1 million. Over 1 million is what they're expecting right now.
Man, that's going to be so
They're saying it's going to be bigger than the 18 parade.
You got that chick that spells Eagles wrong promoting this thing? Should go over well.
Hey, you know what?
By the way, she's not the only one. I saw it on the Fox pregame. Some idiot down there on.
Listen, I'll say this. I don't like. I'm not gonna sit here and get political. All right, but I will say, I thought the mayor handled that well. That the adversity.
She did.
I thought she had one. And wait, and then even on a more important note, it's one thing to spell Eagles right as a handle well. You know what I thought she handled well? I thought she really, and for people in Philly, you would know this. She handled that plane crash in Northeast super well. I was honestly proud of her. I was like, well done. I mean, you did really good. Transparent, got responses, got everything you needed. I thought you did a really good job.
Yeah, she did.
Not to get political, but yeah.
You know what I loved about it was she started goofing on herself, and
yeah, right. She had a little bit of humor to it, which was good.
She added, she was like this. She made herself vulnerable toward it, and I think she sold it.
A-Team says it was over 2 million the first parade. Was it? I thought I was watching the
they
news
lied about the numbers, Jace.
I was watching the news this morning though, and because they were doing like a press conference about it, and they said it was going to be bigger than 18. I don't know. Maybe it won't be 18. I don't know. I'm not the right person for that information. Luke's dad says, "What's one thing Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have in common? Regular season MVPs, lost every time they play Hurts, and no Super Bowl MVP like King Hurts. And they also lose every time they play Mahomes." Luke's dad, and Jalen doesn't do that.
Absolutely, no question that you have to start doing this now. Hey, this is what you want to know. What one game did for a player like Hurts? Every time from moving forward, from this day forward, or no, from Sunday forward, when you mention Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, any of those other guys, if Jalen Hurts' name is not involved in that conversation, wherever you want to rank him, if you start talking about the best quarterbacks in the game, his resume now is better than any of those guys' resumes. And in my opinion, again, you can never mention the best quarterbacks in the game without his name. That's what that game did for him.
Wow, that's coming from you too.
What,
is he top 5 in your opinion now, or what? Because he is for me, but I understand that I'm
an how can he not be?
I mean, right now, to be blunt with you, I'm with Yale. I got him too. Not, and I don't say that in like he got this raw talent and ability. I think that's over fucking rated. I really do. I think it's overrated. I think he's the second best quarterback in the league because he wins the second most in the league.
He not only wins the regular season games, he's now won a Super Bowl, dude. 2 NFC
playoff record is getting good too.
6-3. I mean, you can never.
John, we'll get there, brother.
Hey, you can never have a conversation ever again without Hurts' name in it. And like I said, you can rank him anywhere you want, but if you're going to talk about the best quarterbacks in the game, he has to be in there. Right. Like, he's no longer top 15.
Wow, I got to clip this.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I agree.
How can you not?
I do think listen, I know people love to come in here and say, "Oh, Hurts hater." This is what I love about you, Sileo. You're willing to be wrong. You're willing to say, okay, I made a take. I stuck to my take until I proved me wrong, and he proved me wrong. What do you want me to do? Lie?
Yeah, right. And go like this today on a Tuesday and go, Hurts is 50. You're like, that's not possible.
I agree.
It's not possible. No matter what I think of his ability.
I was thinking this would be what you say. Because I could see this line of thinking. Richard says, Sills, I have Hurts at 5 because you have the big 4. I think that's fair, but
that's what I do.
That's kind of what I thought you'd go with, yeah. I think Jalen, I put Jalen above him simply because of the success I think he's had, man. I mean, I really do think he's his
But
success.
I'll never have a top 5 without him being in it.
And now he beat Mahomes, too. It's one thing to beat. I mean, he beat Mahomes.
And they're 1-1 in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And they're 2-2 against one another in the regular season. Dude, I mean, everybody wants in their heart for it to be Lamar and Josh or Burrow as the rivals. Burrow's got a good regular season, and he does a pretty decent job in the postseason. But what's the one thing Burrow doesn't have? He doesn't have the Super Bowl.
And he doesn't. Yeah, Burrow's a tough one because if you like, I think quarterback ranking should be different than like quarterback talent. Like Joe Burrow's arguably one of the most talented
You
quarterbacks.
can make the argument Joe Burrow's more talented than
Mahomes. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. He's in
Okay.
Cincinnati. He got dealt a bad hand in the NFL draft.
You got Zach Taylor as coach.
Zach Taylor's his coach.
Is that?
They just fired Lou Anarumo when he finally got his defense together in the end of the year. Dumb fire. I don't know why you fired Lou Anarumo. Stupid. I mean, and they don't have a budget, so it is not a good situation there. But
hey, Eric, I'll always tell you this here on this program, and Xander knows this. And the cool thing about our segment too, we go back and forth more like brothers than we do anything else here. That's how we talk. But I got to tell you, bro, here's the deal, man. I can no longer not have him in the conversation because he earned it. He went out and punched his place in history on Sunday. People who deny that stuff that work in my business, I fucking hate them.
Let's see what you're saying at the draft and then August.
No, unless his resume changes, bro, and they take the title away from him, I don't know what else to tell you, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, that ain't happening, man.
Eric says, Sills, hearing you admit that, you're a man of your word. Much respect. I agree, Eric. I agree, brother. Khaled says, I taste blood. I want more. That's what I want, man. That's what I want. All right? That's what I want. Here we go. John said we missed the Super Bowl.
You think if Vic Fangio had been the coordinator in 22, they win that Super Bowl?
I do. Now, it's tough to do that.
Because the way Jalen – I'm playing Tuesday morning quarterback here, but the way Jalen played, and do you think that if they had Vic as the coordinator instead of the consultant?
I don't know, though, because that field was weird, man. That was a weird football field.
You mean to tell me you don't think Vic is a 3-point add to your game?
Oh, he is. Yeah, there's no doubt. Undoubtedly. Bad field or not. Forte checks in. John says, Chase did shit again at the Queefs last year's in Super Bowl with
that's not true. I thought he had a sack in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
Chase Young had a sack in the Super Bowl last year. That's not
true. I get it. I don't really want Chase Young either. I was just throwing out a name out there that was available.
Yeah, but I think what you showed was that there's garbage out there.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Sweat dominated Sunday, not even close. You signed Sweat. Pass rushers are a premium.
So wait a minute,
John.
You're going to sign Sweat to $20 million. You're going to go, what's his name, $20 million, and you got profit stuff over there at 17.5. All right.
Yeah, we had one guy in here, Brandon Howard, I think it was. Brandon, I'm not sure if you're still in here, and I didn't mean to be a dickhead to you, but you were saying some things. He was telling me you have no idea what you're talking about with the cap. I'm like, I literally get explained the cap thing twice a week. All right. I'm sorry, but I understand how the cap works. Going on spottrack.com and looking at what people are going to be paid is not a way to analyze the cap.
I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, listen. No, I do get it because I get explained it twice a week. Jeffrey Lurie gives a boatload of money up front. They extend with dead year contracts. They push the cap hits all the way out, and they continue to restructure contract. There's a reason that Jalen Hurts is making $50 million this year, and his cap hit's like $18 million. All right, Howie knows what he's doing, man. Exactly. The only person who really knows it is Howie. Howie's a master. Yeah. He really is.
He's a
master. All right, here we go. We got a lot of supers.
Hey, he's a master because the bank allows him to be the master.
But that's true. 100%. That's what John always says. William says, say it, Sills. Dual threat. Love you, man.
Dual threat won the Super Bowl Sunday night.
Yo, is that
narrative too?
In a bigger note, in a bigger look at this, do you think this marks maybe a sea change in the whole NFL?
Yes.
First, now I know Mahomes is kind of dual threat, but
Jalen Milroe will now have a job in this league because of what that guy did Sunday night. Guys like that. Personally, I think the Alabama quarterback, I don't think shit of him. However, you know what people are going to do? Oh, by the way, John Clark, that guy from NBC, please do me a favor. The next time you ask Jeffrey Lurie a question and you don't follow it up with him going, you're full of shit, please, I have no respect for you. So he asked the question about Jalen Hurts going, hey, is this everything you envisioned on draft day? And he goes, yeah, we envisioned it. And I happen to point out, yeah, that's funny. The year previous, you signed what's-his-name to a 4-year contract worth $38 million a year, and that's what you envisioned? Are you high? You envisioned giving a guy $38 million the year before at 19, and then signing Hurts in the second round. And that's what you envisioned on Sunday. Why can't people just do this? The Patriots got lucky with Brady in the sixth.
Don't blame John Clark.
Hey, but wait, did the Patriots, in your opinion, get lucky with Brady in the sixth?
Absolutely.
Did the Eagles get lucky with Hurts in the second?
Yes.
That's what that is.
That's fine. Yeah. That's part of it. That's part of it. Now, setting contingencies, I think Hurts is a little bit better because that was a bold contingency. That was against the green. That was against
a two-pick.
You draft a quarterback in the sixth. It's like, all right, there. So we drafted Tanner McKee.
No, that's right. He's a bag holder.
Right.
He's a clipboard holder.
Always Sunny checks in. This hat is nice, right, man?
I love it. I love all your gear you're wearing.
Yeah.
I love that color too.
I said this on
dark green.
I said this on the postgame show. Actually, you're a good person to ask this because we're all Eagles fans. I said I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I truly believe the Philadelphia Eagles have one of the best mascots in all of sports. The eagle, it's like America's bird. It's a sick bird. The merch, the green, the Kelly green. I look at it, I'm like, damn, I love the Eagles merch. They got the best shit.
Can I tell you something I wish you guys would do? I wish you'd wear that white lid one time.
I know, man. I know. That you know who it is. It's Lurie. He doesn't like the Kelly green. He's the guy. I think it was the
white lid, the white helmet. Like I wish.
I know
the white helmet. They haven't worn that helmet. I can't remember.
They won't wear that.
When you guys wore that white helmet from the '60s.
They won't wear that white helmet. No, they're not going to.
They'll wear a black helmet, but not that thing. All right.
Wait, let me get this.
Yeah.
Always Sunny says, Sills, what's your opinion on the new Hall of Fame class?
I think that Antonio Gates belongs in there, but how in the hell did Sterling Sharpe? He is not a Hall of Fame football player. I can name you 6 wide. Dude, A.J. Brown's better. I mean, I mean, way better.
You think there was a little bit of?
I guess.
A little bit of.
I don't get it. He has 590 catches. I don't get it. I know, guy. I mean, Reggie Wayne has 1,000 catches. Joe Horn's better. I mean, there's so many wide receivers that are better than him.
See, I don't like looking at stats too much.
Hey, how about this? When somebody looks at Antonio Brown's career in Pittsburgh,
way better. I'm looking at Sterling Sharpe.
He's got a ring.
But Antonio Brown was a producer.
You think Sterling Sharpe's better than Antonio Brown?
I don't know. I didn't see Sterling Sharpe play. He played in the late 80s, right?
90s. He played during I played against him in college when
right. He's almost your age.
Yeah. So dude, you know what happened to him? He got hurt. He got hurt in his career and he had to end his career. He's a really fabulous guy, though.
Yeah, he is. We had him on the show before. We had him on one of the shows a while back.
Yeah, he's a really good dude, man.
I'm surprised you don't have a connection to him. Do you?
I do.
I was gonna say.
I do. Yep. I know.
Here we go.
We're
Pumper
good.
taking a shot. Pumper. Oh no, Xander, turn off the Madden. We only paying Baun because of N'Kobe's injury, keeping this defense going young. Only women get better when aging. I don't know about that one either, by the way.
They get nastier. That's all I know.
I guess I don't have enough experience in that.
That N'Kobe injury, though, man, opens the door for Orrin and for Baun to get big money here, though. Dude, you can't. I want Orrin back. I want him in the rotation with Trotter. I want that four-man rotation at the linebacker room to be this for the Eagles. I want it to be Dean. I want it to be Zack Baun, Burks, and Trotter. Those 4 guys, man, you can go into war with those dudes. You're going to be good next year.
What do you think Milton Williams is going to get paid?
Okay, were you shocked that Javon Hargrave got 20?
In the moment, I was, and it hasn't panned out for him. He just got cut, didn't he?
Well, they want him back, but he has to redo his deal.
Yeah, they're not paying him 20.
But they have, yes, yeah. But they want him to restructure, and they want him back. How about this? Anywhere between 14 and 17 million, somewhere in there, he's going to be between 14 and 17. I think he'll be in that conversation.
I think Howie. Remember. He's a 3rd-round draft pick from Howie Roseman. All right. Howie loves his draft picks.
So you're going to raise his draft pick for 350%?
What do you mean?
He makes what now? 1.8 million?
Well, if he makes Yeah, 400% would be a lot more than that. It'd be like fucking 1,000%.
Okay, right.
If he jumped to 16 to 18, I'm just saying I think the player's proven it. And if Howie can work a deal and can get the cap stuff managed, I think he would consider it. That's all I'm saying. I think he'd consider it.
You think Laurie will come up with the money to pay up front back then? See, that more is the question, Xander. How much are you going to who are you willing to give the money up front to? I give money up front to Beckton. I give money up front to Baun. I give some money up front to Williams. And you know what I would do with Sweat? I would kind of come in the middle there.
You're not going to get all four of them. It's simply not happening.
Now, you know how you can
what
get
do you
all
think
four?
Beckton? What do you think Beckton's going to get paid? Because like Beckton at 4 years, $10 million a year, I love it, but I don't know if he'll take that.
Not when you have 25 teams that need O-linemen.
I know.
You know why? He's a swing guy. You can now play him at tackle. Bro, if I were him, I'd never leave that right guard position. I'd stay there for the rest of my career. He was a force in there. And I know I heard you guys talking about Tyler Steen. Hey, dude, no disrespect, but Tyler Steen, that ain't that dude.
I didn't say it was that dude. You threw me out there. I wasn't even here to defend myself.
Hey.
No, I didn't say that. In fact, the first play that Beckton was out in that Super Bowl, Tyler Steen got dog walked. Jalen had to roll out to the right. The pressure came so fast in his face, he couldn't even blink. But I like Beckton. I think he's going to be a casualty, if you will, in terms of you can't make it all happen. You know what I mean? And you feel better about that spot because, I mean, look, we just replaced a Hall of Fame center in 1 year.
And got an upgrade.
And got maybe even an upgrade. I don't think people are ready for that conversation. But
well, how about this? If you're looking at those guys come out of the huddle and break the huddle, 6'7", 6'9", 6'4", 6'6",
crazy, dude.
6'8", bro.
It's crazy.
That's the great wall of Philly.
I know, it really is. Somebody's been saying that in our chat for months. I think it's Joe Whipp. Joe, did you dub that the Great Wall of Philly? Like a year ago? Yeah, I think you did, dude.
Man.
I got to get all these shirts made. See how much stuff I miss out on. All I can think about is all the shit I got to do better. It's driving me crazy. It's driving me freaking crazy. All right, let's get to some more super chats here.
Guys, all supers will be ready here. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate it.
You got
Merle Reese,
right?
Merle Reese is joining us at 5:30. It's his first broadcast in Philly coming off of Super Bowl 59. And you're going to hear that at 5:30.
And then 7 o'clock tonight, I'll be doing a segment, me and Krause. All right. So for those who enjoyed that on game day, that was a fun segment. And we're going to do that again tonight. All right. So make sure you guys lock in on that. We'll be live on the channel. And if you can't catch it live at 7, you'll watch it on the replay. All right. Watch it on the replay. Abe says Trayvon Walker, Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack. Talking about a trade?
No. Khalil's a free agent. Dude, Khalil Mack, I'm not paying that.
I'm not
36. 35.
Trey Hendrickson. Wait. I'm confused what Abe's saying.
Trey Hendrickson's going to have to be a trade.
Wait. Abe put 3 players out here that are so drastically different. Abe says Trayvon Walker, who's like a third-year player, who was a number 1 overall pick. Trey Hendrickson, who was the sack leader in the NFL this year. And then Khalil Mack, who's well on the other side of his prime. Abe, what are we going for here? I'm confused.
Well, if I'm going to make that kind of investment, I'm going to go get Myles Garrett. Because those guys are going to cost you right there.
Trey wants out. Is that what's happening there?
Yeah, Trey wants out of Cincinnati.
Because they're not going to pay him. They're so
no, that's what they did. They tagged T. Higgins.
Oh, if you can get him.
Well, no. Here's the story on T and the Bengals. Every single player that the Cincinnati Bengals have ever dropped the tag on, they've never brought back.
And
they've never brought back.
Did T. Higgins have the tag?
Yep.
All right, and Trey Hendrickson's 30, so I don't want to go that. I'd rather load up and go Myles Garrett.
No doubt. Me too. If I'm going to go, you and Trayvon Walker, you think the Jags with the new coach down there is going to just give this guy over for what? A bag of Fritos? That ain't happening. Kenny Pickett. You guys that like to throw that Kenny Pickett for Myles Garrett deal.
I do think Kenny Pickett could be a trade piece because they probably like McKee enough to make him the backup.
Yeah, okay. Hey, by the way, Philly Don, how close are we to getting the 350 likes? Let's go. I want 350 today, man.
Crosby would be a good one. Stay Focused says, I'll take Jack Sawyer from Ohio State any day. Yeah, we talked
He's
about
on
him.
a cheap rookie deal. I'll take that.
He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a player. He reminds me of kind of a Karlaftis a little bit, actually. Michael Robinson says, does Fangio have any influence on who stays?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, because as a player, if I knew that Vic Fangio made me into an All-Pro, not Pro Bowler, okay.
You know who liked Jalen Hunt, right?
Yeah, if all that.
It was Vic Fangio.
If you make me into the player and you give me a life and you give me something that, yes, it matters to me. I want to play for Vic. Vic had faith in me. Will I take a couple million off the top of the cake? If that, yes. Like if I'm Zack Baun, would I take $4 million potentially over 3 years? Would I take 5 off the top of the cake for something like that? Yeah, I would. Because you know why? The grass ain't always greener on the other side, dude.
I know. And the coaches here, dude, the coaches here have done such a good job. Like,
now, there's been a revolving door of position coaches in Philly, so you got to put that in mind too.
You can't stop it either.
No.
Like even
and I don't think they want to stop it.
Well, because that means you're not that good, yeah. But I mean, even with Vic, you got stability at defensive coordinator. But if you don't lose Clint Hurt this year, you're losing Clint Hurt next year. If you don't lose Bobby Wagner or Bobby King this year, you're losing him next year. I mean, depending on how good their defense is. Right. Brian Pumper says,
if you get to the NFC Championship game minimum next year, and you got the same coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball, every one of those guys are going to go somewhere. Every one of them.
This is a funny ass super chat.
Swift is an Eagles.
Brian Pumper says Swift is an Eagles fan. She got Kelsey moving like a white guy now. Dude's running in slow motion, shit fits, and Dawson Creek haircut.
You got it moving like a white guy.
He's saying it was internal sabotage.
Oh my God. He's got him.
Made him run like a white dude out there. He can't catch a ball and he can't run a route anymore.
Hey, Brian Pump, you see that outfit he had on? He looked like a gay porn star with that haircut.
That was one of the worst outfits I've ever seen. Oh, my God.
Seriously, that haircut, too, he looked like a gay porn star.
Yo, Pump is hilarious, bro.
He is, man. He's got him moving like a white guy.
Moving like a white guy. I know exactly what he means, too. I know exactly what he means. Dude, Travis Kelce looked really bad in that Super Bowl.
He looked old.
I mean, there were several chances they had to move the sticks that he just was no.
I couldn't believe how bad Mahomes looked.
Yeah, he did.
Like exposed. Like
is that a credit to Fangio, right?
Completely. And the players. The way
players. Oh, it's always players. Yeah.
He was so bad, man. The white guy.
Brian Pumper says Jalen Hurts is off the charts. That motherfucker is my hero. #1 Hurts hyper. I found the only person in the Eagle world who is a better troll than you. It's Pumper, bro. That's Pumper. Pumper's got you beat.
Hey,
William says just like Fangio, go with the originator in Reich.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to – they probably want to stay with this. Hey, I wouldn't be shocked if they bring Frank in as a consultant to the offense. Maybe. That's if Frank wants to do it, man. He's making –
I know, dude. I know. And he's older.
Yeah, he's making $9 million.
How old is Frank?
I think he's 60.
Yeah, right? I mean, hey, listen. You're 60 and you're making $6 million a year. 63. Okay. And you don't have to work. Or you can go work and grind it out for less money.
Yeah, you're hanging out in North Carolina beaches, man, making $9 million a year for the next 2 years. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking he's got the Dan Sileo mindset. He ain't leaving the fucking house,
bro. See this man? That's another shot. Remember? See, he's a subtle shot guy, man. You know how many bullet holes I have in me with this guy?
I take shots when you're in person, though, so you can.
He did that. He's taking shots at me now. When you're a champion, I see that. That's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, I'm taking shots all summer. Get used to it, asshole. I listened to you for 4 years. All right. All right. Jahan Dotson, Super Bowl world champion Dotson. Respect my dude.
I guess so, man. Hey, in the Super Bowl, man, every single thing that we said about him got erased. There he was. Hey, he caught the ball, Xander, and I went, oh, look what I caught. That's what I felt like. Look at me. I'm in the back of the end zone with the football. He scored the first TD, right?
Well, he didn't get in.
Oh, he didn't get in. Okay.
All right. He didn't get in. That was a good route, though. That was a nice route, and Jalen identified it. Jalen, look out, everybody. Jalen's learning how to manage the line of scrimmage. Reminds me of some great quarterbacks who talk about all I had to do was master the line of scrimmage and I could be successful. I'm starting to see Jalen comes up. He surveys the line. He surveys the defense. You come over here, you in motion. Let's check into this play. Let's check into here. And here we are with 150 points in the playoffs, the most ever in NFL history.
Saw that too.
The dynasty is low. Philadelphia.
Dynasty?
Our time has come.
So wait.
Our time has come, Philly. We've been through enough.
Are you calling it
enough agony? We've been through enough defeat. Our time has come in the city of brotherly love. We will be a dynasty. Mark my words. I guarantee one thing. I guarantee another Super Bowl in the next 3 years. I guarantee it.
February 11th. Can't say anything to
Flip it. Make a post of it. Put it on my X account. I don't care what you do. Make the clip. I mark my words. You don't understand what happened on Sunday yet. Not everybody understands what happened on Sunday yet. Jalen Hurts has been the best silver medalist in the world in the last 8 years. On Sunday, he became a gold medalist.
How about this, folks?
He just got that off his back. And now we will reign supreme in the NFL.
Can you imagine 2 million Eagle fans like this asshole? Can you imagine him all year? And get this, they have the right. You got it. You got it, brother. Dude, well done. I said it.
I'm telling you right now.
Hey, you can never, Xander, ever say, you can never, ever bring any quarterback up in this league without having his name in it. You can't. You just can't. I mean, how about this? Do we not agree? Those other guys were anointed. This guy had to elbow his way into the top 5 for people to believe him.
He had to earn it. He had
to earn it. These other guys were anointed, don't you think? The Herberts, the Allens. Look, MVP is a great honor and all that. I get it. But this guy had to elbow his way in, right?
Yeah, he did. He had to earn it. And he did. And he did. And he did. Anthony says, is Frank not taking the job as
I think it's got a lot to do with the David Tepper money, man.
Did you read this one here? I'm back. I don't know where we started. Did you read this super chat here? Did you go full back in the draft? Do you go power back?
No.
Okay. All right.
Ronnie Brown was with Cadillac Williams back in the day when they were at Auburn together. Tuberville was their coach when they went undefeated in the SEC at Auburn. Maybe when you were in high school, Xander, they were undefeated that year, and they had Ronnie Brown in.
He's saying we already got. Oh, he's saying you already got Ronnie Brown and Barry Sanders.
Who are you saying is the second? Kenny Gainwell? Kenny Gainwell's not helping.
No, he's saying you already got one of them.
Yes. You need a Ronnie Brown type guy.
Yeah, but he's saying we already got Ronnie Brown. I feel like we already got the Barry Sanders.
Yeah, you got the Barry Sanders. You ain't got the Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, bro, we got the best.
Are you trying to compare Saquon Barkley to Ronnie Brown? I
got a weird feeling that Saquon Barkley is going to go for 2,000 again next year. I know it's never been done. I understand it's unlikely. I understand a regression to the mean is most likely. I understand he probably shouldn't have 400 carries again. I got 2K yards again. I feel it.
At 30.
I feel it.
28.
He just turned 28 in the Super Bowl. He's not 30.
Look, holy cow.
You're aging him 2 years. That's bullshit.
He's 28. He'll be 28.
He just turned 28 2 days ago.
Yep.
By the way, when he became a Super Bowl champion, Saquon Barkley, that is. Gabe Santos, is Clint Hurt getting a DC job elsewhere? Maybe.
Is there any open right now? I don't know if there's any open. I think Robert Saleh going back to the Niners helps.
I refuse to take the black pill today for this guy. Look, if we lose Kellen Moore, the repeat is squashed. Wrong, Greg.
It's standard operating procedure in Philly. That's what they do. You know what, Xander? The more you do something, the more you're apt to understand that you have. If people don't think they had a contingency plan in September, if Kellen had a great season, that they knew that he'd be one of the guys. He's 36 years old. Isn't he the prototype of a coach that they're looking for in the NFL today? Young, offensive guy. Now you got a play calling head coach in New Orleans. That's what they're looking for.
Let's see if Kellen Moore is successful in New Orleans. Okay.
Hey, you should wish him the best after what he did for you.
I absolutely wish him the best. I'm talking about an organizational uphill battle. He doesn't seem to me to strike me as a guy that can handle play calling is one thing. You got to handle that's 1%. You got to handle so much other stuff as a head coach. So we'll see what happens there.
Hey, and that first hire of his, if it is Brandon Staley, I'm going to be right there with you right there.
Pro Server says we're going to be insufferable. Go Birds. We are going to be an insufferable fan base. The last thing the NFL world wants is a fucking Eagles dynasty, but they're going to get it and they're going to like it. How many grumpy Sileos are we going to get in the next 4 years with an Eagles dynasty? How much grumpy Sileo will we get? I don't know. We will see. Look, Michael J., same guy who was commenting that I was an Eagle homer in August when I told you there was a no-holes defense. Michael J., are you still black-pilled, Michael J.? Are you still so down bad and so beaten up by this team's shortcomings in the last 50 years that you don't believe we deserve more, that we will get more? You don't believe it, Michael J. You don't believe, Michael. Come on, man. Come on, man. These people don't understand what happened on Sunday. I still see it. They don't see it. Zoom out.
What don't they see, Xander? What don't
they don't see that we have broken the chains and it is all systems go moving forward. And this team will be the gold blueprint for the entire NFL world. And for those who say we're still hunting, we are not hunting anymore. Everybody's back there and they're looking at us like, what do we do? The entire NFC is looking at the Eagles. How do we do what they've done? 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I haven't even sniffed a title game in 30 years. I'm talking to you, Dallas. They are all looking. They are all watching.
How about this, man? Eagle players all earned $171,000 for winning the game. Chiefs got $96K, but here's the telling thing. Jalen Hurts, because it went in his contract that if he won a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, get this, because it kicked in 2004, it's the first year of that deal, Jalen earned a $500,000 raise for the next 4 years per year because he won the Super Bowl.
Good. He deserved it. He earned it. No, not deserved it. He earned it.
Additional $500K.
We got Supers flying. We got to get to him so we can get. I got to get off because I got to get ready for the 7:00 show. You guys should all tune in on that. And we got Merle Reese coming up 5:30. Brian Pumper, that brother Jalen Hurts is so cold. They said, "Geez, move in silence." Did y'all see that sly MFer glide past them Chiefs defenders? He was moonwalking.
He was, man. He was. He had a great game, dude. He did.
Brian Pumper is actually so good at trolling. I now have no idea what he's saying, if it's serious, jokes, sarcasm. I have no clue. All right. Pumper, well done.
Hey, Pump, are you smoking hot? Are you smoking Dubois, man, when you write these things? Because they're awful good, man. You're kind of like Bob Dylan writing these fucking things, man. I mean,
I think he's using ChatGPT is my guess. He's using AI.
Pit Router smoking hash.
Yeah, maybe with Aaron. When's the next Philly 500 beatdown? We do got to get Philly 500.
Oh yeah, hey, let's do that tomorrow.
We should get 500 on for sure.
Put them on tomorrow. I promise.
We should get 500 on for sure.
Oh, Eric Allen's coming up soon.
Oh, are you getting Eric?
Yeah, great. Day. Eric Allen promised me he's going to come
What to do with Jake? He's 26 to 27 all time in postseason. I think you ride with him. They just gave him that big contract.
Didn't he go 8 for 8?
Also, I did see a report. Bo Allen on the Greenlight podcast said that Jake Elliott's been dealing with an injury all year that they didn't report really.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Brian Pumper says Jalen Hurts is a top 2 quarterback in the league, and he's not 2. Send this handsome motherfucker to Canton.
Oh, wait.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Bob Brown says, Xander, Pumper's transition to a Jalen night is just like when Saul flipped the paw. If you know, you know. That's great. That is great. On the island of Cyprus. Oh, baby, Bob Brown.
Holy
I love
cow.
it. That's hilarious. Luke's dad says, the draft is very O-line heavy and DT heavy in 2 rounds, and beyond, we would be foolish to not move that 32nd pick. Well, it all depends how the board falls, honestly.
Really, you don't know what those quarterbacks are going to do and what they're going to push down. Like last year, you had all them old linemen that were in that draft, and those quarterbacks pushed all those good players down the draft, man. Dude, that guy, like I said, I like Trevor Keegan. I mean, I like him. I think there's some future to him with the Eagles 2-3 years from now. I like him. I think he can be your swing guard.
I don't really get why they didn't use him at all this year.
Was you see the guys in front of him?
I know, but they did have some. I mean, they had some moments of injury and stuff on that offensive line. I mean,
they did.
They didn't even elevate them. Like they're all the other guys who were elevated. You know what I mean? Nick Gates, all these other dudes, they were moved up and down. Blaine says, Xander, Sells and Xander, thank you for this platform. Thank you for being here because you make this platform possible. We are not here without the greatness of you guys. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I think we got all the supers. Let me double check because I don't want to miss anybody's. All right.
We got a ton of them today, didn't we?
I know. We had a lot of them. They started flying when I came on and started spilling my bullshit.
All right. Hey, Xander. So tell the folks again, you're going to be giving stuff away too. By the way, dude, if I saw that store that you went into, do you know I go online and I buy shit from that thing? If I ever walked into that place, what's it, Mr.
I told you, yeah.
Bro, I couldn't get out of there.
I walk in there, I start to feel a little burn on my thigh. I'm like, what is that? What is that? Get it out. My wallet's on fire. I'm like, whoa, get this thing out of here, man. I can't touch that thing anymore.
Dude, that's one of the greatest like jersey shops and hats and
dude, it's so cool. Coats. I almost checked out in a $400 Randall Cunningham jersey. It was the sickest jersey I've ever. And that's where I took my wallet and I got out of Dodge.
Dude, Mitchell and Ness he's giving away. That's going to be great. I like the stand up that him and his dad are doing. That's going to be at 7:00. So be prepared for that right after the program. Guys have been absolutely great. Merle Reese is going to join us at 5:30. It's his first public appearance since the Super Bowl call that he had on Super Bowl 59. I believe tomorrow, Philly 500, and we're also getting Eric Allen on this week, I think on Thursday. So we got it going on here, bro.
People want to know when you're bringing them up, and I think they deserve an answer.
What?
The people want to know when you're bringing them on so you can get shredded for ripping their quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's right. Should we do that tomorrow?
Well, it's your show. You know me. I don't like to
What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Do you want me to do it, or do you want to be with me in the 3:30?
Or I'm with you, but
okay. Let's do it at 4. Let's do it at 4:00.
4:00 tomorrow?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to get Philly 500 or somebody. You got to wait because if you get somebody.
Hey guys. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll set the table when I find out who we're getting on tomorrow, and we'll either do it at 4:30 or 3:30.
Tomorrow or Thursday at 4 in the 4:00 hour. We'll do it.
What's that?
Tomorrow or Thursday.
Yes.
Not Friday because it's Parade Friday. Not
Parade Friday. Yeah. So we'll do it in the next 2 days. I promise you.
Wednesday or Thursday for that.
All right, brother. Great stuff, man. Hey, we'll be looking forward to you and your pop. And hey, congratulations to you, man. I'll say it to you all week long. That man, congratulations, seriously, man.
Oh, it's not congratulations to me. These guys put in a lot of work and they've earned this, and I'm a fan and I'm proud of them, and I'm honored that they represent the city that I live in and that I grew up in, and that
but you got stake in this too, because let me tell you, man, you guys look at this team differently than LA and New York. It's a civic.
No, I know we do.
You take pride. You take civic pride in that team. That's all good, dude. You know. That's all good, man. I mean,
no, I know. I know. I'm definitely not saying it like that. I just mean,
I'm enjoying watching it. I'm enjoying watching it.
I said it before the Super Bowl, and I said it after, and I'll say it again. I'm most happy for all the great people in JAKIB Nation that are listening to this show right now, that'll listen to this show after it airs. I'm happy for the people who have relatives who have passed in life who are massive Eagles fans, and every time they turn on the game, they think of that relative or who the person who lost their father and their father introduced them to sports and the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel for those. I'm most happy for those people because I walk around this city all the time. And I was down there today at the Mitchell and Ness shop. I'm telling you, man, this is a beautiful city when this football team wins games.
Hey, dude, this is on my chair right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is on my chair right now, man. And it will not leave it here. I got it with me right here. And
I'm still saying that was a good luck charm, you wearing that.
Hey, man, I've got it right here. It has not left, and it will not leave. Absolutely. And the Hurts jersey, he has.
Wearing that. He's gonna wear Jerome Brown.
I'll wear the Jerome jersey.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Kyrie, I can live with that.
I'll wear the Jerome jersey.
We had one knucklehead in the comments after the post. Take that jersey off. I'm like, this man played with this guy. You watch Jerome on TV. This man played with best friends with this guy. As far as I'm concerned, he can wear the damn jersey. So shut your mouth.
Hey, Xander, you know what? Miami Hurricane fans doing this. There's probably only one guy on the planet who can really wear that jersey. And he was like you, Sills. We all know how close you were with the guy. So it really is. Xander, let me roll.
By the way, I think Sills was born to wear Eagle green, baby. Maybe it's just that green, how beautiful it is. But, boy, you've never looked so good on a show. And I say that with no Diddy involved, all right? No Diddy involved. But Sileo with an Eagle jersey on the show. I'm like, damn, Sills, let's go, baby.
Great stuff, Xander. As always, we'll catch you tomorrow. We'll catch you tonight also at 7 o'clock with your stand-up with your pop. We'll do that as well. Don't forget the great giveaways from Mitchell and Ness. Holy shit. That stuff is grade A stuff, man. We thank you very much. One last one here, Xander. Thank you. I thought I was going to miss Sills Roast today. On a flight home to B&W. We will have this on. I promise you, Mad D. You guys will all be here. By the way, I'm going to make a rule. We're going to have to, because I'm not going to put everyone on.
You got to get rules. There has to be rules. Believe me, I talk to these people enough. I know there must be rules.
We're going to put super chats on. Okay? I've got to prioritize it. Okay? And
I can manage the back end too for you with the people coming in and out. I'll manage all that.
All right.
And I'm not going to make you do that. I'll just tell you who's coming up, and you'll be. And listen, we'll set that we'll
set it up. I got to find out though, guys. Thank you so much, Xander. Love you to death, dude. Appreciate you very much, man. Thank you. I'll be watching that with you and your dad tonight. Thanks a lot, brother. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Go Birds, everybody. World champs. We did it.
Love it, man. All right, guys. Do me a favor. Make sure you guys, please, hit that like button. Don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Been telling you guys now for a while about John Morgan, man. We so appreciate him being involved with our program. 20 years I've known the family. Morgan & Morgan is America's #1 injury law firm. They're the biggest law firm on the planet. We thank you guys. Listen, I'm going to show you this, man. Over $20 billion in recovery for their clients. This is what Morgan & Morgan does. Their track record is second to none. In Pennsylvania, there was a family that was offered $650K. They ended up getting $26 million. That's who they are, man. Life is hard. Everyone knows making decisions is some of the hardest things you can possibly do. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Make sure you check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. That's right, man. And again, the fee is free. They have to win or the fee is free. For more info, go to forthepeople.com/bigsills or #law 529. That's FOR, thepeople.com/bigsills or #law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Cell's National Football Show. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. The legendary Merle Reese will join us at the bottom of the hour. We so appreciate you guys stepping in with us. Thank you again. I just got this note here, and one of my dear friends ended up sending me this. As of January 30th, 2025, the Philadelphia Eagles have a projected cap space of $19 million. The Eagles' projected salary cap space in 25 is $19 million. The Eagles can create cap space by using void years in contracts, void years pushing back salary cap charges, allowing the Eagles to spread out cap space over the life of a contract. They can defer it, is what they're saying. The Eagles' projected salary cap space in 26 is $36.7 million, and in 27 it's 102.9. So how I read this is that over the next 3 years, you're going to have more room to be able to do more maneuvering. So you're going to be able to work out more money, especially if you give the money up front in what you're going to be able to do. So actually, if you think about it, you're going to be in a better place right now for what you're going to think about with some of the offseason moves. So can you maybe how about this? So maybe right now, can you get more of these players signed to what you think? Absolutely. Merrill's going to join us in a couple minutes here at the bottom of the hour. I apologize for this here, man. I don't know where this came from. I apologize. Still's got work. I don't know where that came from here, man. All of a sudden, it just parachuted in here. So I apologize for the noise there a little bit, guys. I appreciate you guys coming aboard here. What I did was, and I'll go over it more a little bit later on, I wrote down my final comments about the 24 players. You know, players will do this. How about this? Thank you, Big C. I appreciate your patience too, man. How about this? I'm going to give an exit interview here to the players that played in 2024. Your Eagle players, and I'm going to give them an exit interview right now, and I'm going to tell you how well I think they played on what they did this season on becoming world champions. Okay? I'm going to start on page 2 and work myself up to Jalen. Isaiah Rodgers. I gave him a B this year. I thought he was a guy that was a plug-in dude that was needed whenever there were injuries out there on the perimeter to Slay, or if you needed somebody in nickel. I thought he was a valuable piece, an interchangeable piece that he had, and I thought he really played well and was a major part of that defense. I liked him. I thought he was an interchangeable part of that football team. I mean, I really do. I liked Isaiah Rodgers. I gave him a B-. Bryce Huff was an F. I just absolutely got no use for him. He was a non-factor this year whatsoever. He hurt the development of the other young football players. And at the end of the day, Bryce Huff brought nothing to your football team. Thomas Booker, I gave him a B. Every single time I saw him step in, and remember, what I'm doing here, I'm giving Thomas Booker a B. You know why? Because of the role he's in. I liked his role this year. He did really a great job. Him, and Ajomo did an absolutely sensational job, and I'm going to add him in. I gave him a B+. Any single time that those guys were asked to come in and give effort and give playing time and pick up for playing time on third down for Jordan Davis, I absolutely thought those guys in their role, I thought they were B players, man. I thought they were B football players. So I'm going to totally give those guys a lot of love. And I think they were really great backups. How about this? I would make this point to you. Don't you guys agree that Ojabo and Booker were better backups on this team than Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph were? Would you not agree that these guys were better backups than the 22 backups of Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph? These two guys, they pass rushed. They gave you more in the pass rush game. They did a lot more, in my opinion, in the pass rush. And I think those guys did a really great job. I mean, get this. Here's this. This guy would not agree. He would not agree. Those two guys brought you nothing in the Super Bowl. I think those guys were out. I think they were better than Sue and Linval Joseph. Stills, don't know if you like basketball, but Hurts reminds me of Rondo. He was never Garnett or Pierce, but he was on one of the ones that they could not stop. Dude, Rondo was a tremendous defender. He was an ass kicker. He was a tough dude. I like Rajon Rondo too, man. It's a great comparison too. He's got the heart of a champion. Rajon Rondo, man. I'm a fan of him. Okay, he played at Kentucky, right, big guy? Isn't he a Kentucky Wildcat dude, man? He was a good football player. All right, Cooper DeJean. I gave Cooper DeJean a B+. He's a rookie. He played like he was a veteran guy. And I think he brought so much more energy to the football team after the bye that when they put him in, I thought for sure that guy brought a lot more energy in the building. And I got to tell you guys, I think he brought a lot to that defense. This goes now to Darius Slay. I gave Darius Slay a B+. Even though he was in and out of the lineup and he was hurt, I think Slay had a really good year. And it would make me consider bringing him back at the right number, okay? At the right number, I would end up bringing him back. So I really liked him, and I think Slay had a really great year. Even though Slay was injured the majority of the season, he surely played well in the second half. Hey, man, Blake, how about this? Reed Blankenship. What do you guys think of him? What do you think of Reed Blankenship and his job? He's the guy that kind of connected the entire secondary the entire time. I thought he was one of the most important players back there. I heard Vic say it numerous times. He was the guy back there that was keeping everything with communication from one corner to the next corner. And he was really a centerpiece this year in how that secondary came along. I like Reed Blankenship. Reed had his best year as a Philadelphia Eagle, and I gave him a B+. I thought he was really good this year. Maybe, would we not agree? Do you think that Reed Blankenship is the most underappreciated and underrated player on the Philadelphia Eagle defense? Would you not? Would you not say he's probably the most underrated player on the Eagle defense? I think he is. Gardner Johnson. I didn't think Gardner Johnson had a very good first half. I gave him a B. Second half, I thought he was better. And I would even say this. I thought he was better in the playoffs when it mattered the most. I think he had a really great postseason. I think the second half, he was picking it up week in and week out. He got better and better and better. I didn't really think he played well in the first half. I mean, I did not like how he played. But I'm going to give him a B because he came on, and I thought he played even better than when he did when he was in the postseason. I mean, he played exceptionally well in the second half, and he played exceptionally well, I thought, in the postseason. Quinyon Mitchell. I gave him a B+ for a rookie on what he did this year. A couple times he got a little bit, especially in the back end of the season. I thought he got a little bit where some teams were starting to see a little bit of getting some open space on him. But in my opinion, I think he picked it back up again when he got into the postseason. And for playing one of the toughest positions on the field, I thought Quinyon Mitchell. And now watch this. If you want to talk Quinyon Mitchell as a rookie, it's A+. There's no such thing as a zone shutdown corner. There's no such thing. You don't shut down corners playing zone. Now, as a rookie, he's an A+. As an everyday defensive corner, I thought he played B+. And I thought B+, it's Pro Bowl. I thought he played Pro Bowl type football. If you want to go Cooper, hey, Sills, how do you think he played as a rookie? A+. As a nickel corner, he was a B+. That's how I looked at him. I thought both those guys had an absolutely great first year. Josh Sweat. I thought Josh Sweat went like this. I thought he had a really good first half. And I thought he kind of started tailing off the last 6 games. And boy, I'll tell you what, when he got into the postseason, he picked his game up and he was a force. So he kind of went like this bit. He went up, then around game 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, he kind of evaporated a little bit. And as he got into the playoffs, I thought he just went up. And I'll use a word here from Yale here. I thought he made a highlight reel in all the playoffs games that he played. So I'm going to give him a B+. I thought he played exceptionally well, and I wish him well. If there's no way that they can re-sign him, he had a great year. Oren Burks. Holy cow, Oren Burks made a spot on this roster for himself. Oren Burks made it so the Eagles now have to do this. I want him back. You know why I want him back? You can't have $20 million players as starters at every position. He is a valuable piece. And I think you can get him back at a really good rate. Was the game our ceiling, or could we do more? Abe, I think your defense is better next year. I thought your defense was going to be what it is now next year. I said that. I thought you were going to be better. Now, the Nakobe Dean injury, Oren Burks, man, he stepped right in. I got to tell you, I gave Oren Burks a B+ for his play this year. He was great on special teams. I'm a big fan of this kid, man. That's a player that Vic has to love. Remember what Vic said earlier in the year about guys like this? Remember what he said? He was like this. You can always tell good linebackers because you know why? Traditionally, what? They're great on special teams. Oren Burks is great on special teams. I like him. I want him back. Here's something, too. You talk about going back and changing history. Nakobe Dean, I did not think I'd be saying this. Nakobe Dean proved he can play in this league. Nakobe Dean still has to prove to me that he can stay healthy in this league. But as a talent, I want to go forward with him. I gave him a B+ this season. I think Nakobe had a really good football year. I think that he has now proven that he can play in this league. He's got to show me, though, that you can play a full season without getting injured. It's been 4 years now that he has not played a full season at the college level and at the pro level. He's got to show he can be consistently healthy. You can't be hurt all the time like Dallas Goedert. He's got to stay healthy. Does he have the ability? Absolutely. Nobody's now denying that. But he's got to prove that he can play healthy, and he's got to show that he can play on a week-to-week basis. That's why the importance of Oren Burks was in that room. By the way, Merle Reese is going to join us in a couple minutes here. Zack Baun, A+. What can you say? If I'm talking to him and I'm having his exit meeting with him, these exit meetings are kind of good and bad sometimes, but if I'm talking to Zach, I look at him and go, every single thing that I thought you could do, you excelled and overachieved. I can't believe the things that you did. You're going to be rewarded. Do you know what he's done so much? How many times have you ever heard this from a general manager? If I was talking to him, you played so well, I don't know I can afford you. That's how good he played. I'm not sure I can afford you, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do everything in my power to try to make sure that this happens, that you don't leave the building. That's how great he played. What a great football season. Nolan Smith. Nolan, I'll tell you what, man, our biggest mistake was not believing in you at the beginning of the year and us going out and getting Bryce Huff, because the Bryce Huff sign was because they didn't believe in you. But after Brandon Graham ended up getting injured, you got the reps in practice and you got the reps in the game, and you proved us all wrong. Let's be fair here. Bryce Huff was brought in because they thought that Nolan Smith was failing. Did they not? Why would you think about this for a second? Do you not agree? You don't draft a guy 30th and then go sign a guy for $17 million and give him a 3-year contract and give that guy a contract because you think you got the heir apparent to Hassan Reddick. They even thought he was a bust. Why would you sign an edge rusher? Okay? Why would you sign an edge rusher? Right? You wouldn't. They even thought he wasn't going to come through. Okay? I mean, you moved off of Huff, okay? And again, on the other side, you had Josh Sweat. You have Josh Sweat, and again, you had over here, and you moved off of Reddick. So you had Hassan Reddick, and you had him 30th pick, and you brought Bryce Huff. Both of your edge rushers, get this, you didn't believe Nolan was the guy. You moved off of him, you signed Huff, and you drafted a guy 30th. Unbelievable. Great job. Jalen Carter, A. He is the heir apparent, in my opinion, to Chris Jones, and there's no doubt he was a major factor in the football game on Sunday and all year long. He was absolutely fantastic. Okay, he was fantastic that he was going to be able to do the things that he did. Just an absolutely sensational season, and I see nothing but great things ahead of him as long as he stays healthy. Jordan Davis. What do you guys think the year Jordan Davis had? What do you think of Jordan Davis? By the way, we're going to get to Merle Reese here in a second. What do you think of Jordan Davis? I think you're going to be shocked. What about Jordan Davis? He's a role player. Okay? He's a role player. He plays 20 plays a game. He's a role player. What do you think? Here's my grade. I gave him a B. I thought he played his best football in the playoffs. I thought he got better the last 5 games of the year. He was in shape. I want his level to get up more with, I don't want to give him a contract extension playing 20 plays for the 13th pick in the draft. I just don't. Yeah, but hey, Senor says it's too high. Senor, let me ask you this, Senor. Do you not think the linebackers in Philadelphia benefited from Carter and Davis being in the middle? And how well they played? Wait a minute, flexing. You know how I know that the tackles played well this year? Your linebackers played well. No, your linebackers played great. He had an impact on, dude, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis had an impact on what Zack Baun's going to make. Okay? And he was a factor in the run game. I disagree. I think Jordan Davis came on at the end of the season, and I feel pretty good. Okay? I feel pretty good about him moving forward. I'd like to see more than 20 plays, though. So if you want to go B-, if you want to go down there because he didn't play enough plays, I'm fair with that. Milton Williams gets a B+, man. He had a great season, and he's going to make himself a ton of money. I mean, he is just absolutely going to make a ton of money in the offseason. It's going to really determine on what we're going to see here on what he's going to command in the open market. Who knows? Maybe he takes a pay cut and wants to stay with Howie, and he wants to stay with the Eagles. I'll tell you this. One of these free agents that's going to be a free agent for the Eagles is going to take a pay cut and want to stay because of that. Somebody's going to do that, okay? Somebody's going to go to their agent, and I don't know who it's going to be yet. Beckton, Williams, Baun. I have no idea, but somebody's going to do that, okay? Hit the like button, guys. Give me a total on the likes. Merle's going to join us in a couple minutes here. We appreciate you guys. Fred Johnson, I gave him a C+. I tell you this, man. I loved him being the swing tackle. I thought he had a really good year. I think he can make – he's another free agent out there for the Eagles to have to think about on what you want to do, whether or not you want to bring him back. I think he had an absolutely great season this year, and it would not shock me if there's a lot of teams that want to go out there and sign him because he had a great year. Kenny Gainwell. I gave Gainwell a B-. I think Kenny Gainwell had a nice year, man. Every time I saw him coming in there, he made some plays. He had a really good football season. He is going to be a free agent as well, and there's going to be teams out there that are going to sign him. And I could see him really – I could see him being a factor on a team that needs some dual-threat type backs. I could see him in New Orleans. Wouldn't shock me if he goes down there with Kellen Moore. Lane, just a great year. He's just a staple. You're going to get great football out of him every single season. He is just a prototypical offensive lineman. He's big. He's athletic. He's tough. Everything you want in a football player. Lane Johnson is it. Now you start to put his resume together. 2 Super Bowl championships, 4 NFC championships. Am I right when I say that? Does he have 4? Does he have 4 NFC championships? No, he was on the 17 team. He was on the 22. He's got 3 NFC championship rings, and he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. So when he's 2-1 in Super Bowls, it's awful impressive for a right offensive tackle who was taken 5th overall by the Birds. Mekhi Beckton, B+, great year. I mean, he was an imposing force this year. This is my exit meetings that I would have if I was sitting across from these players and how you get talked to when you're leaving. Just a great football season for Mekhi. Mekhi didn't even know he was going to play guard at the beginning of the year. Who would have thought you're preparing for the upcoming 24 season? You thought you were going to be a swing tackle, and you ended up having a spectacular season for the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. That's why he's so emotional on the sidelines. Just an absolutely great year for Mekhi Beckton. Cam Jerkins, another B+. Boy, I'll tell you, there were some times this year where I saw him get beat, but most of the time this year, I thought he was the 3rd best center in the league. He really played well. I mean, you could make the argument, the kid, Creed Humphrey, the guy up in Detroit, Ragnow, and this guy, Linderbaum in Baltimore, is pretty good as well. But Cam Jurgens is in that conversation for one of the top 5 centers. Not only did you go, how many years did Jason Kelce play in Philadelphia? What was it, 14, 12, whatever it was? So you may, for the next 24 years, have 2 guys playing center for you. Hey, Yale, the last time I saw something like that was when Jim Otto and the guy Don Mosbar ended up playing center for the Raiders. And you had like 20 years of center playing at one position. I mean, you could get another 13 from Cam and have 2 guys in there for 26 years playing the center position, which is one of the most important positions you can have. Kudos to Cam. Cam had a great year. It was a great, by the way, that I know all of you guys look at the skilled players that the Eagles draft and all the defensive pass rushers. What was a better draft choice than Cam Jurgens? Should the Eagles get Myles Garrett? Most likely lose Sweat, Milton, cap space, or sign Baun, keep Beckton, try to sign Milton, Henderson instead. I'm a Garrett guy. I think you go there. Okay? I think you go there. I think you go Garrett. We'll see what the cap goes up to. Projected at 75. Grade Nolan, you skipped it. Let me see here. I gave Nolan a B+ because I thought he came on in the second half of the season. And when he started getting more reps, I gave him a B+. He looks like a player. He looks like somebody. Okay? He looks like he's somebody that you're going to go forward with. Let's see him play 18 ball games or 17 ball games. Okay? Yeah, Merrill, I'm working. Okay, let's see here. Merrill 6 minutes late. Let's see here. So let's see where he goes. Whoa, there you go, Xander. Thank you very much. I gave him a B+. So good stuff here. Let's go over here now. Let's go to Jan Watson. You guys want to give him a Super Bowl. The only reason I gave him a C is because of the freaking Super Bowl catches that he had. The rest of that shit was garbage this year. But he was great in the Super Bowl. And by the way, still gives some other grades besides a B. B+. I gave Lane. Hey, I'll take care of it, kid. I got it. Landon Dickerson. He's a warrior. Gave him an A. I think he had an absolutely sensational season. He was just so good this year. And he's one of the perennial absolute guards in the NFL right now. He is just, I like it, clutch. He's a clutch football player, man. Really a super player. Jordan Mailata gave him an A. Jordan Mailata is the best athlete on the field for the Eagles. He's the best athlete on the field. Here's a guy 6'8" that can run a 4.9, 4.8 40. I saw, if you ever watch his rugby tape, he's insane the way he runs with the rugby ball. He's fast. He's nimble. He's an athlete. He's so great, man. I'll leave the rest for the end of the program here. I got to tell you, man, I couldn't wait to get this. There's a lot of excitement in Philadelphia right now. And my friend here has seen it all pretty much. And let's get to him now. I know he's got to be busy right now. Let's go to Merle Reese right now. Merle.
Hi.
How you feeling?
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's been a crazy 48 hours.
Merle, what was it like the final couple minutes of the Super Bowl for you when the game was over pretty much by really halftime? You know, everyone was assuming, but the way that they had, how about this, Merrill? They had more points on the board than the Chiefs had in total offense, 23 yards. That game was relatively over at the half, but when the minutes were ticking off and you were watching this just absolute destruction of an Andy Reid Chiefs team, what were you thinking throughout the broadcast?
Well, I was thinking, Dan, just how good this Eagles team is. I was thinking that it was the greatest Eagles team in modern history, without a doubt. I was thinking that I had just seen I was really feeling that this team was everything you could have hoped for, and that finally maybe people would begin to realize that Jalen Hurts is every bit an elite quarterback.
It is the greatest Eagle team in history, in your opinion.
Yeah, and I don't count the 48-49
No,
team.
no.
That was
How about the Super Bowl era? It's the greatest team in the Super.
Yeah, it positively is. Positively the best Eagles team in the Super Bowl era and one of the great teams, period, in the Super Bowl era.
Because now you validate what they've been doing the last 4 years. 2 NFC championships, Merrill, a Super Bowl now, all the winning. It just absolutely, because to validate anything in our league, you got to win championships. You just can't win games. And that really did that. And I made this comment about, you brought up Jalen, and I said this. I've never put him up there like that. But now there's no question about it, Merrill. If you mention Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, if you're leaving his name out, then you're not really looking at what the resume is. He's got 2 NFC championships. He's 6-3 in the postseason now. He's 2-2 versus Patrick Mahomes, 1-1 in Super Bowls. I mean, the real rivalry's Mahomes and Hurts. It's not Mahomes and Burrow or Allen. Those guys don't beat him. He beats them.
The fact of the matter is, and I am not denigrating at all Patrick Mahomes, who was a magnificent quarterback. He didn't have his best day and had a bad day, but the Eagles' defense had a lot to do with that. But in the last 3 head-to-head meetings, Jalen Hurts outplayed him in Super Bowl 57, even though the Chiefs won that game. Jalen Hurts outplayed him last year on a Monday night in Kansas City when the Eagles were down 10-0 at the half, and Jalen Hurts took control of the second half, and they beat them there. And Jalen Hurts obviously outplayed him this week in the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going to say that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is he belongs in the same category as elite quarterbacks with the best the NFL has to offer. There are a lot of people, I heard people say he doesn't have an NFL arm. Doug Peterson told me the first time that he saw him, he said he's got a live arm. He can throw it any place on the field. He's got great deep touch, great. And he can throw with all the velocity with which you have to throw. And he's a leader. He's a leader. He's a dedicated guy. He's no nonsense. He's not. Bill Parcells used to say, do you remember the thing that Bill Parcells says, I don't want celebrity quarterbacks? No, he's really not a celebrity quarterback. He's not going to be the reincarnation of a Broadway Joe or one of the quarterbacks who was in every commercial, although he'll probably do a ton of them this offseason. But he's really not a big public personality. But if you know him, and I consider myself fortunate to know him pretty well, he's really a terrific young man, dedicated to his profession, somebody who cares about his teammates, who cares about society, who cares about doing the right thing all the time. He's really, really special.
How about this too, Merrill? That has to be one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in Super Bowl play by a defense, the way that they just absolutely just took apart that Chiefs team. I compared it to the Bears Super Bowl when the Bears beat New England, but that was pre-salary cap. And I even said this, Gang Green may have the most talented defense in Eagle history, but that is the most accomplished defense in Eagle history for what they did to that Chiefs team and how well they played the entire year. The 91-92 Gang Green defense, I think they were number 1 in the league. This team was also number 1. But, Merrill, that had to be the greatest defensive performance that you've seen in a long time by an Eagle defense.
It was. And the word I used to describe it is they were stifling. They really were stifling. There was, I mean, at the end, Mahomes, in my opinion, seemed really rattled.
He
But I don't
was.
blame him. I mean, he would take the ball and simultaneously with the center snap, there were three guys ready to drag him down. I mean, how many times has Mahomes been sacked? 6 times, time after again, and threw 2 interceptions and had a fumble. I mean, that's what was his passer rating? Really low.
Terrible. Merrill, it was just an expedite. They put on an exhibition on how to play defense, how to play in the secondary. That leads me to Vic Fangio. I mean, what a job, Merrill, that he did this year with that defense, player development, everything across the board. I mean, has to be one of the greatest coaching jobs in Eagle history, too, on that side of the ball.
Absolutely. It goes up there with all the great defensive coordinators. I mean, there was a great one on the other side, Steve Spagnuolo, but this game belonged to Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio has been outstanding, and I've been around and I've been friends with other great defensive coordinators. I thought 2 of the best I had ever seen up close and personally were Bud Carson, of course, and the other Jim Johnson. They're great defensive coordinators. But let me tell you something. Mr. Fangio's right up there with them in what he did in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, he was insane here. Speaking of coordinators, Merrill, the loss of Kellen Moore now, who's been named the head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. This is now the 9th coordinator change now for Jalen Hurts in 8 years, going back to his college days. I mean, the one organization that you might feel comfortable with is because this is how they deal with it, and this is what they've dealt with by bringing in these coordinators. But the impact that you think it has, because, I tried explaining this, just because you have the same playbook, that doesn't mean the guy reading the same playbook is going to have the same voice in the quarterback's ear. That's going to be a transition too. Will it be slow, fast? Will it take a little time? May not take any time. No one knows yet and how that's going to look. How much of an impact do you think that is moving into the offseason now, another coordinator?
Look, it's an important position. There's no doubt about that. But Jalen Hurts is a guy who really works with a coach. He's not a rebel. He's not going to give a coach a tough time. And a smart coach also, and they'll hire a smart coach, will know that he has to come to Jalen Hurts and put him into the decision-making process and learn what works best for Jalen Hurts. What do you feel most comfortable about? What do you think we should do in the third quarter if we're down by 14 points? Really, really access his inner thoughts and his knowledge. And I think Jalen Hurts is a very cooperative guy. He's not going to be tough to deal with. He wants to win. That's all he wants to do. Now, the name I hear, and it's just a natural assumption, is that there's a good chance it'll be Kevin Patullo, who is the Eagles' passing game coordinator. And he and Jalen know each other well. They've worked together a lot. And just to slip into the OC chair, I don't think would be that big a disruption.
No, I think that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to make a move into that and just want to have some stability there from the coaching staff. Let me throw this one at you with Howie Roseman. Is this his best year, you think, assembling this team? Or how about this, Xander? A GM can't be gauged on 1 year. He's got to be gauged over about 4 years in what a team looks like. Because you can't get a good sense of what a player is for 3 years. You got to see what the player looks like. You develop them. Then These last 4 years with Howie Roseman, he's been in the building since 2000. I mean, this is his best era right now and his best time. And he's only gotten better as a coordinator now. I mean, as a general manager. And his impact has been enormous in this franchise.
Yeah. He has really done an amazing job. He's been executive of the year, I believe, after Super Bowl 52. And I don't know if they voted for it or named it yet. And there are other people who have done great jobs elevating teams that were far less significant going into the season than the Eagles were. But look what he brought in this year. Look at the drafting of 2 guys, one in the first round and trading up to get the other one second in the second round. The picking of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. That's a great draft right there. And then he got other guys like Jalix Hunt. And then he signed some free agents. Now it's a combination of Howie and the coaches. So he brings in he brings in Zack Baun, and Zack Baun comes in as probably he'll do some outside edge rushing, and he'll play some special teams. And Vic Fangio says to him, I want you to get inside. Get inside in the middle. You're an inside backer. And from there on in, he just thrived. He was always making a play, and I think it's fitting that he had a big interception in the Super Bowl. But he was either coming up with a pick, a forced fumble, or a sack. Zack Baun is the defensive player of the year, or should be. And I'll tell you something, Vic Fangio had a lot to do with not only teaching him and educating him, but finding the place that was best fit for his talent. Andy used to say all the time, got to do the best job I can to put a player in a position to succeed. And that is exactly what Vic Fangio did.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring the owner up. I mean, since 1994 now, he now has, if not mistaken, 11 NFC titles, East titles. He's got 4 conference championships. He's got 2 Super Bowls now. He's got 19 playoff appearances since 1994. I mean, you can say what you want about Kraft or what have you. Now that the Eagles now put themselves in that conversation, if not in the top 3 of the best ownership groups and the best franchises, it's got to start with him. I mean, he allows Howie to have that bankroll where he can pay the players up front. But that owner, he keeps the bank open for the general manager to do his job. And he's made great hires at head coach. I mean, think about it. Who would have thought this? I mean, in your wildest imagination, you won 2 Super Bowls without Andy Reid as your head coach. I mean, that's after Andy was in the room for 14 years. Pretty good record there for Jeffrey Lurie.
He's a great owner. He is easily the greatest owner in the history of this franchise. He's also, if you knew him, he's really a great guy, Dan. He respects other people. He's polite. He's got warmth. And when an assistant coach one time was leaving the facility and going to another team, he said to me, he said, you know what? If I ever get a chance to become an owner in this league, I hope it's for an owner like Jeffrey. He said, because all Jeffrey does is when a coach asks for something, Jeffrey says yes. He hires the right people. He lets them do their jobs. And if anything, that coach thinks will give him one more win, Jeffrey will go out and get it for him. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being, as philanthropic as they come, and a guy who really feels the same way the craziest, wildest fan feels in terms of his passion and love for this team. Jeffrey has that.
I always leave the personal note for you to the end because broadcasters like to be mentioned in the end. And I'll ask you this finally here. What was it like for you calling your second Super Bowl championship? I mean, you were the voice of the city in 2017, and now here you are again in another position. I'm not sure if you thought you were going to be in this position again, but personally for you, Merle, a personal note, winning your second Super Bowl and being the voice of the Philadelphia sports community, what was that like for you personally when you ended up winning that, or you guys were in that booth calling that Super Bowl?
Boy, is this going to sound disingenuous, but believe me, it's not. I honestly, Dan, I don't think about myself in this regard. I love it. I love doing it. I love broadcasting every game from the preseason on. And the bigger the game and the more and more excitement of playing in the Super Bowl, being part of that is the ultimate. However, the first thing I honestly think of when the Eagles are locking something up, and I just have to say something to you. You talked about the DeJean interception where you suddenly felt, hey, this team is going to do this. I didn't exactly. I said the score at halftime is 24-0, and no, I have not been drinking. That's what I said. But what was evident to me, I wanted to see what happened after the 3-hour halftime was over, and they came out. I wanted to see what adjustments Kansas City made because they were going to take their opening kickoff, and if they showed any spark that they could move downfield 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, touchdown. Then I'm going to worry about that team a little bit because I also am a history buff as far as this sport is concerned. And I remember that once upon a time, there was a New England team that came a 25-point deficit and beat the Atlanta Falcons to win a Super Bowl. So I'm that, and plus my wife criticized me several weeks ago in the Rams game, where with 4:46 to go, the Eagles had a big lead over the Rams, and Saquon Barkley had just scored a touchdown, and I said something ridiculous like, well, get your popcorn because next week it's going to be Jalen Hurts versus Jaden Daniels. And thank goodness I didn't take out my phone until after the game because Cindy was writing, stop it, stop it, stop it. So I'm not about to start awarding any Lombardi trophies until there were 5 minutes and 46 seconds to go. I said the Eagles are 5:46 away from a Lombardi trophy. But but I felt it when the Eagles shut them down and showed that it's the second half and they couldn't do anything to turn things around. So inwardly, then I felt I knew. But when it actually happened, once again, I think of these people who go out there and pay a lot of money to see NFL football and buy the gifts for their kids, the jerseys that are $100 plus for their kids at Christmas time and little Eagle footballs and all the memorabilia where their hearts are. I am overjoyed. Now, I'm overjoyed as someone who grew up here and loves this team. But more than that, I am overjoyed for these people. I really am.
I thought it was because you were like, during the halftime, you were enjoying the Kendrick Lamar concert. And I probably thought you were up there writing down all the songs.
But, I do want to say this. I thought that this was one of the most tasteful pregame shows with the American the Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Trombone and in a Dixieland mode with a wonderful sound.
Yeah.
And I thought that Baptiste did a gorgeous national anthem. Everything was beautifully. And then before that, the Southern University Marching Band.
Oh, God. Merle, I think that's like their 11th Super Bowl or something that they performed at. They are so, there's another one too. There's the Bethune-Cookman and FAMU.
Yeah.
They have great ones too, but that Southern is an absolutely sensational halftime and pregame stuff that they do. They're legendary at the Super Bowls.
Well, my close friend was so proud of them after the game, and that's Harold Carmichael, because he was a great star at Southern University, and he couldn't have been more proud.
Absolutely. Merle, can they do it again?
Well, that people are already talking about, can they do it again? I don't count me in that discussion because people may say if I answer that maybe I should be a little more upbeat. Well, I'm upbeat about what happened the other night. I love it. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. However, I offer one warning. This team, as it's constituted right now, will never take to the field again because it changes every year. The roster changes. There will be players they lose to free agency. There will be new draft choices coming in. You already have a new offensive coach coming in, and who knows how many others on the coaching staff. Every year stands alone. Now, keep in mind that the only person on this starting team on offense who's over 30 is Lane Johnson. And the only starter on the defense who's over 30 is Darius Slay. So there's youth on this team. There's good coaching. There's an elite quarterback. And there's a coaching staff that is outstanding. Those bode very, very well for the immediate future of this team. But again, we have no crystal ball. We have no guarantees. So it's not a fait accompli. They have to go out next year and earn it. As I always say, don't worry about September. That's an extension of the preseason. But from there on in, they have to show what kind of a football team they have and how good they'll be at this point, and with what changes they'll make, nobody knows. They will be competitive. They will be good. But repeating a year like this is awfully, awfully high in terms of the bar that you have to reach.
Absolutely. The man now that has a eagle ring for every finger on a hand. He's got 5, 2 Super Bowl championships. Holy cow, you're going to start looking like Brady and Michael Jordan now, throwing up your jewelry. You're going to be Merle Reese.
You know, I wear them for special occasions, and I wear them when people want to see it, but I don't really wear them every day. They're only for special occasions, because when I put that big ring on my hand and somebody says, "Hi, Merle," and shakes hands, it kills my knuckles.
Oh, wow. Merle, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on a great year broadcasting as the voice of the Eagles. We love you so much here, man, and thank you for always taking time for me. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. Have a good night.
You got it. Our good friend, Merle Reese. Another championship for Merle Reese. All right. Guys, you were spectacular today. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. My boy Xander's going to be on with Krause. They're going to have another special show coming up right after the program. Please hit that like button. We will see you tomorrow. We're working on Philly 500 and also Eric Allen. Hit that like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. We'll see you on the flip side.